of targeting Iran's nuclear sites.
Sirens sounded across Israel as incoming missiles were detected, prompting citizens to briefly shelter before being cleared to resume activities.
At least 51 Palestinians were killed and over 200 injured in Gaza as civilians gathered for aid distributions in Khan Yunis. Joseph Eckerson with the latest.
Palestinian authorities say Israeli forces opened fire during efforts to reach trucks delivering food.
California faced Tuesday's Ninth Circuit hearing, challenging the Trump administration's federalization of the state's National Guard.
The case concerns troops deployed to assist immigration and customs enforcement amid protests over immigration sweeps in Los Angeles.
Minnesota is reeling after a gunman disguised as a police officer fatally shot former House Speaker Melissa Hortman and her husband.
Authorities are still investigating whether the attack was politically motivated.
This is News in 60 with Alan Edwards.
A fifth day of airstrikes continued Tuesday.
The opinions expressed on this program are those of the host or guest and should not be interpreted as statement of
the
fact.
back of this
Independent fact-checking and corrections are encouraged.
Can we get a cup of coffee in here, please?
No coffee for you. Coffee for both. Shut up, I'll tell ya. I'm not even gonna do it live. I'll do it dead.
Damn good coffee and hot.
Watch. It's all clicked right.
My dog is your mind's best friend.
And then the colors are all everything.
My dog is your mind's best friend.
Wake up, America. You've got a dog that needs walking. That's right, sunshine. Just put on a big pot of strong coffee and get ready to type your little hate mail with your opinions about kumbaya and flat earth insanity. Stand-up comedy? You want stand-up comedy? Well, we've got sit-down comedy. It's time for Coffee with the Dog. You make me laugh.
I'm not making anybody laugh here. Well, they're laughing at me, but that's different. You know what? Ooh, ow, ow. That walker chop to you. All right, come on. I'm gonna wait for it. You're gonna bump it. Yes, you are. I shut it off manually. I'm gonna have to shut everything off manually from now on because StreamYard just. I can tell I'm in a good mood this morning, right? Good morning, folks. What is it? Is it Wednesday? June 18th, 2025. It's Wednesday, right? How'd that happen? I think I missed Tuesday. Was there a Tuesday this week? Or did we cancel that? Anyway, even though I've been poisoned and probably on the verge of death here, probably. I'm kind of excited about I'm excited about today's show. Not just kind of, I'll admit it. I'm excited. Dwayne Walker, who I've been interested in talking to for about 2 months now, is due in the first hour. Dwayne is from the world of creativity, the world creative, create or die. And he's a guy I've been, worldofcreatives.com. He's a guy I've been talking about to many creatives on this program and hurting their feelings. And then the second hour, Jeff Rasley will be back for the 19th time. That's an exaggeration. 18th time. That's still an exaggeration. I'm an exaggerator. But Jeff is an author friend, a lawyer from Indiana, a state that has the terrible misfortune of housing one Stephen D. All the adjectives there. Sit down, blah, 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 blah. The sit down, shit down. So it was a good program, right? A good one. You're tuning in on a good day. You know what's weird? Tucker Carlson. That's weird, right? Tucker Carlson has become. I feel I'm feeling a little sick saying this. Tucker Carlson has become the voice of reason on the right. Last night he was, or I don't know if it happened last night, but they published the clips last night of him interviewing Ted Cruz, and really just taking Ted Cruz's pants down, bending him over backwards, smacking him with the paddle on his ass, calling him a neocon. It was just a delight to watch. Now, in recent days, Tucker has come out and said that Fox News is a propaganda network that just likes to take advantage of the elderly. Okay, I agree. How long ago did you figure that out, Tucker? Because you worked there for 13 years as the main person in their primetime slot. I think he probably knew it for all of those 13 years and took the paycheck and went along with it. But it's good that he's now calling it out. People like Carlson is turning on Donald Trump because of the Iran thing. And listen, somebody on Twitter, and I can't respond on Twitter for a couple more days at least, probably maybe forever. Somebody was saying, "Oh, well, Iran, um, is on the verge of unconditional surrender." Says fucking who? You got to be out of your mind. Have you not? Listen, look up the Iraq War and mission accomplished. This part of the country doesn't surrender. They've been fighting each other, I don't know, 14 billion years. Maybe that's an exaggeration, slight exaggeration. They've been fighting, and they don't unconditionally surrender. They don't do that. It's not in the game plan. I'm not happy with this oneness or the two-ness either. Why is the lighting uneven in here? Everybody's fired. That's it. Go home. Take your last paychecks. Get your pink slips and get there. I'm sorry. So let's get on with the program. I'm gonna play a stinky, smelly, rotten commercial for a stinky, smelly sponsor. And you can choose to stinky, smelly, buy the doll without a head on it or not. But I wish you would. Where's my mic?
Even to sit down. Really wants to get down. Stevie likes to get it on with a girl that's made of silicone. He goes to Fantaly, click the link. He goes to Fantaly, soft.
Forgot to say a happy birthday to Paul McCartney. And
the bed. You need a fake rubber squeeze. Lose it up, it's so soft. Get your 10% off. He goes to Fantaly. He goes to Fantaly. He goes to Fantaly. He goes to Fantaly.
Imagine. Oh, you could almost see a little bad stuff in there. Almost. But I just would, just for the sake of imagination, here, just for the audience. Sorry. I'm talking. You fucking. I'm sorry. Imagine you're with a beautiful woman, a well-endowed woman, and you take her bra off, and you see that friggin' mug on both her breasts. There, that would not be.
I love it.
You do?
Best song ever.
Why? Don't love anything. Anyway.
Oh, I love it. It needs a whatever, a Grammy award.
I was looking at a clip from us from. I don't know. It wasn't that long ago. I think it was episode 904, and you didn't have any hair, any mustache, any beard. This is episode 912. How does that happen? Oh, by the way, in the room with me now is Stephen the hairy bastard Ortiz and J.P. Mendelson, the distinguished writer and humorist. Good morning, JP.
Good morning, America. MindDogTV.com. Tomorrow is Juneteenth. Feel free to do something special for that special Negro in your life. Go to MindDogTV.com/merch. Get that special Negro woman a t-shirt that says, "I'm free, but I'm not cheap." And then get that special Negro man or white woman while supplies last. MindDogTV.com/merch. Support your local mercenaries and enjoy the suffering.
I did
Now,
say
GD, I have a question.
Yeah.
Sure.
I have a question
well,
actually, I have a couple. So, as a new member of the Black community for Juneteenth, what are the what expectations do I need to set to the white guys, to the white people? Like, do I need to be expecting some sort of like food, money, gifts?
No.
I know we all get the day off, but
this is what needs to be done, because Juneteenth is still an underrepresented holiday, and everybody knows the reason for that is because it doesn't have an alcohol sponsor. You know, July 4th, a white holiday,
not
has
Hennessy?
an alcohol sponsor. Yeah, right. So we need people to reach out to alcohol companies.
Code
so the Juneteenth can reach the same status as St. Patrick's Day and Cinco de Mayo and other ethnic holidays that have an alcohol sponsor. So that's what we need.
Matt, there's a couple gingers talking. I need you to.
If I could just take the steering wheel back for just a moment until we get off this. We're on.
Wow, he's putting us in the back of the bus. Wow.
Yeah.
Damn.
So I'm not feeling well. I've been poisoned. So, and this is all making me feel very nauseous hearing about. First of all, the white supremacist in chief has canceled Juneteenth. It's not. You're not even supposed to acknowledge it. You can be shot.
Okay.
Yeah.
The ball's out and shuts up right now.
You don't want to be shot. And we can't afford to have you shot. But it just occurred to me that it's really GD. It's not JP. I mean, after all these years, you'd think I'd know that. But GD Fenderson, not JP Mendelson. How did I get that wrong? Anyway, last night I could not sleep because the Supreme, the guy, their chief guy over there in Iran, said they were gonna create a surprise that the world would remember for centuries. Right. Now I'm thinking he's gonna nuke Washington D.C. or New York City or something, but nothing happened.
Well, no, you probably missed it. It was like on page 6 on the daily paper.
Page 6 is where they have the booby pictures.
Yes. The Ayatollah actually came out as Jew. He's a Jew.
I was close. I said he was going to come out as the furry, so I was close.
No, they're not exactly the same thing, Stephen. I'm sorry, but
the Ayatollah revealed the fact that he's actually Jewish, and he proved it. He dropped his pants and said that Trump could suck this,
and he was circumcised.
That's good that we can joke while the world is about to go up in flames.
You thought I was joking?
That's our job, baby.
I thought Stephen was joking. I thought you were being humorous.
I was. Humorous.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about what you.
Probably a fraction humorous at that.
You guys know that most of the guests, and I'm not making this up, most of the guests who come on this program are supplied by publicists who want, whether pushing a movie, a book, or whatever, they send people to me. It's very rare. It's not unheard of that I will go out and find somebody that I really want to talk to. Today, we have one of those people who I really want to talk to, and I brought up what I think I've learned from him many times, and one thing in particular, and I'm going to want to talk to him about this fairly early on, is this idea that great artists create for an audience of one, and everybody I mention that to says, "Well, I guess that makes me not a great artist." It's like a defensive thing. It's like, no, maybe you have the opportunity to adopt that mindset and improve your art, or maybe
the word "one" needs to be redefined.
Well, we'll let him explain it because you know what I take I'm taking what he says as gospel because he has really, and let's introduce him now since I'm talking about him behind his back here. Dwayne
Jeez.
Walker is a creativity expert, Shark Tank. I don't know what he's a Shark Tank entrepreneur. He's art ed tech and author of Create or Die. He's here now. Let's say good morning to Dwayne Walker. Good morning, Dwayne.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
I'm excited. I'm excited to talk to you because you know, a lot of people talk bad about the algorithms and all this stuff, but if it had not been for the YouTube algorithm, I would have never found you, and I'm very glad that I did because a lot of the things you say inspire me and make me rethink creativity. And if there's one thing we're about on this program, it's creativity. So thank you for being here.
Yeah, no, thank you. Yeah, I could tell just from the jokes and the banter. I could tell that you guys are very much improv heavy, living in the moment, and the magic happens just like that.
Yeah. So let's start with that thing that I just mentioned that I have said to a lot of people, because it resonates with me that and if I'm saying anything that you put out there wrong, don't hesitate to correct me. But I thought I heard you say, I'm pretty sure I heard you say that great artists create for an audience of one. And it did change my mindset. And I didn't think you meant exactly it had to be one person, but you had to really define your audience. What do you mean by that? And first of all, do I have it correct?
Yes, you definitely have it correct. And it's funny because a lot of people do say you have to create, for your niche audience, or maybe they're creating for, like, I want to blow up on this platform, or I have X amount of followers and I'm trying to reach this. But no, literally, when I say you have to create for an audience of one, even if you have a niche audience, you have to define that avatar. But the best audience that you could create for is one of two people. It's someone that you're extremely close to that you can say, like, okay, while I'm creating, I can think about this person and create through that lens, or you create something for yourself, something that you will personally love and enjoy. Like oftentimes people would write a movie and they think, okay, how can I make this movie a good movie that people that's a sci-fi level would like, or things like that, versus what's just a movie that I would personally enjoy watching. And the more that you go through that process of writing that movie over and over and over again, you will start to add things in there that you personally would like. And the more that you create for yourself, the more people will like it. You know, they say, as above, so below, or I am because we are. It's because the more that you create for one person specifically, the deeper you go with that, the more that it'll resonate universally for just the masses in general.
Yeah, I find it to
Yeah.
be true. Why do you think so many people have a defensive reaction when maybe it's me and the way I deliver it, but they go, oh, if he says that, well, I guess you must not think I'm a great artist. It's like, well, that's not what you're supposed to be taking away from this idea. Is it just pure defensiveness? What's your thoughts on that?
I think that with creativity comes an ego. It's I create something, everybody loves it, or it's all about building this massive audience, and so people look at it through that lens. But you will notice that a lot of the greatest artists are the ones who turn their creativity inward. They create for themselves, and almost oftentimes it's an accident that a lot of their work blows up. Even I had to learn that myself. Even when I wrote my book, initially I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna write this massive book, and then in the process, I just realized, like, man, like I just love creativity. Like I'm probably not even gonna write a book anymore. I'm just gonna continue taking notes on over 100 creative geniuses. I'm gonna research all these studies, and then I'm having these conversations with my wife, and I'm taking notes on our conversations, and over time, it turned into a rough draft for a book, to be honest. And that's how the book came to be. And then when I launched it, I was so still in that frame of creating for one that I launched it, and I really only gave it to like my mom, my friends. Like if I'm talking to a creative and they're struggling with something, I'll say, oh no, you need to check out this chapter here, take this book. I didn't promote it. I didn't promote it at all. You will notice in my videos, I don't promote them in my videos either. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to. Can I add something here, Matt, without you interrupting me again? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, take the wheel.
No. Your question. Okay, thank you. The question, Matt, you said your question. One of the things you asked was, why does it seem that people rebel against the idea of writing for the audience of one?
Yeah.
And I think that part of the reason is a misconception of what selfishness is. When you say I'm writing for an audience of one, it almost sounds selfish, okay? And maybe it is selfish, but selfishness is actually good to a degree. That's why we as individuals survive. We have to be a little bit selfish. We have to feed ourselves. We have to nourish ourselves. That's selfishness. But people have a negative connotation of it. So when you say I'm writing for one, it sounds like I'm being selfish. I don't care about the others. I'm writing for myself, and it has a negative connotation. That's just a theory. I'm sorry, not a theory. That's a hypothesis that I have yet to test with a theory and a postulate and a correlate.
That. Backing off the theory to a hypothesis. I like that. I'll just comment on that, and then I'll ask.
No, I didn't want you to comment. No, I didn't want.
It's my show. I'm allowed to comment.
Ladies. This is about Dwayne.
Oh, you keep your shirt on.
My middle name is Dwayne. How do we know which one he's talking? I know because he misspelled his.
Jesus.
That's how we know.
Right.
All right.
This is going off the rails.
I think maybe you're right. Maybe there is some part of that where they're analyzing and saying self. But most of the people, like even Dylan, like last week when we had him on, he was basically taking that. That's not my experience. So I must not be a great writer because I don't operate that way. Every time I create, I'm not thinking of an audience of one.
And there's one other thing, and this is because me being a semi-creative or an unsuccessful, really great creative, I'm not sure which. When I write and when I create for myself. I create for myself, and then I tweak it because I know I'm performing it. And so I've written this and created this idea for me.
So I think you're following Dwayne's strategy there.
I'm like 40 years older than Dwayne. I'm following like my strategy.
How do you know? How do you know you're 40 years older than him? He might just stay young.
Because here's the deal. Because black doesn't crack, but white is brittle, and we are all white on the inside. Those bones are cracking like a mother, and I can hear my bones over his microphone. That's how I know I'm 40 years older than him.
I apologize. I'm sorry for whatever damage I might have caused you here. But would you care to comment on that or not?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Respect your elders when you speak, Dwayne. Remember.
Look, man, I've been here a couple times. So I would like to say, I think the greatest, most recent frame of reference I could think of is Kendrick Lamar. So, first I'll say that I 100% agree that selfish in a way can come off as negative, but it really is a positive thing in many lights, kind of like how you said, for evolutionary benefits. And in a way, it is self-love, right? But I will say that when I say create for an audience of one, I'm not strictly saying for yourself. So, for example, Kendrick Lamar, oftentimes the way that he stays relevant and comes up with a lot of his work is he would just go into his community, talk to kids, talk to women, talk to whatever's happening around the world, and he would just take notes. And over time, those notes will become a time traveling memory bank that he will use when he's in the studio. He creates the story and the message from one interaction that he's had that was emotionally impactful. He encapsulate that emotion into something written and then takes it into the studio. And so when I say create for audience of one, I'm not even necessarily talking about just for yourself. That video that you stumbled upon, even mentioned in that video, I create these videos for my wife, and it's true. Like the conversations that I had with my wife is what led to the book, and it's still to this day the videos. Every video that I made that my wife did not really enjoy that much did horrible on the channel. Every video that video that you saw blew up, and when I created that video, I wasn't feeling too good about it, and she watched it. She was like, "Whoa, like it's something about this video," like, and that's the video that blew up every single time.
But is it possible? Is it possible because your wife and you are more in tune with each other? For example, my wife and I have a Venn diagram of humor, okay, and most of what I find humorous. My wife goes, I would never say that in public. My wife, most of what she finds humorous, most of it, I would say, you couldn't pay me to say that in public. But there's a Venn diagram where we intersect, and when I write stuff in that area, she's like, oh, I'm all bored with it. And then I know that it's not going to be good enough for me because she either totally agrees or totally disagrees. And I've tested this with material that I've written. Like when I used to show my wife material when I first wrote it, and she'd go, that's not funny. Nobody's going to like that. And then I'm like, as soon as she says that, I'm like, oh no, okay, I have to do this and show her that this is funny. And so I would do it, record it, and show my wife and say, this is the part that you said, but nobody was going to laugh at. And the place is erupting, and my wife will hold her ground and go, it's still not funny.
well, this is kind of how I view that. When I say write for an audience of one, I want you to think, if I could take this, if you could take this one person and multiply them by 1 million, is that who you want your audience to be?
Right.
So,
that's how I took it. But a lot of people don't take it that way.
Yeah. Well, and my when I write, like I said, when I write for me. I make me laugh because I'm telling a story that I want to hear. But when I tweak it for my imaginary audience. I have an audience in my head of 12 people, and they each represent a different type of humor. You know, some like slapstick, some people like the erudite humor, some people, you know, like the dad jokes. And so once I tweak it so that everybody has a good time. But when I write it, you know, when I begin that process, it's for me.
I'm not feeling this is going in the right way, because what you just described.
Your feelings don't matter, man.
It doesn't.
Tomorrow is Juneteenth. You don't have any feelings.
I have it written down. It sounds like you were just describing or writing for an audience of 12.
Yes.
Not an audience.
No, I write for the audience of. When I create, I write for me. Okay.
But then you want to please everybody.
No. I want
everybody to have a good time, all 12 of them.
Yes. When I go to release it for the public, once I tweak it, okay, it's like a song. You write a song, it's like, okay, I'm writing a song. You write a song for yourself, tantally, whatever it is. You're writing a song for yourself, and then maybe, okay, I shouldn't speak for you. I'll speak for myself.
I wrote that for
when Steven. I wrote the song Tantally. No,
I wrote that for Steven, by the way.
You know what's crazy actually is Matt's motto in the bedroom is coming for an audience of one for himself. As we established yesterday. So very selfish lover. Should be ashamed of yourself. Anyway, back to you, Dwayne.
I think we did cover that yesterday.
Dwayne, I apologize for you getting in the middle of this domestic dispute. Matt will be reprimanded. No.
Thank you.
We're gonna give him some slappity.
Now, I'm curious because I used to spell my middle name. How should I put it? When I was born, my middle name was spelled Dewayne.
Dwayne.
Okay, I see that little shake of disapproval. But my mother was naming me for an audience of one. Okay, now.
She didn't create you by herself. It was a collaborative experience.
Hey, believe me, if my mother could have created me at all, if she could have done it without my dad, she would have. And if she could reverse the whole process, she really would have. Because I was an unexpected and unwanted accident. But
that kind of like you're on the show.
Yes. Yes. Right. So, but the point is that when I was the summer between kindergarten and first grade, I had just made a new friend. I just moved into a new neighborhood, and my friend was a whole year older than me, so he was so much more wiser than me. He was like 6, and I was 5, and so I was showing him how I knew how to write my name, and I wrote Dwayne as my middle name, and he goes, "Oh, that's not right." He goes, "My cousin's name is Dwayne, and it doesn't have an E." And I said, "But that's how my mom taught me to write." He goes, "Your mom is wrong." So because he was my friend at age 6, I changed the way I wrote my name from DE to D''W. I replaced the E with to compromise. And I don't even know why I mentioned that.
So,
because
just
people
for
like
the
you who
audience,
spell your name DW are making it hard for people like me who are named by their mom DEW.
So for the audience who's tuning in to learn about
screw them all together. DUA.
Creative process and
Human, am I right?
creativity from an expert about creativity, and not necessarily GD's life story about his mom naming him and stuff like that. We can probably.
I'm just saying, my mother named me for an audience of one. That's
I know,
all
and
I'm saying.
you took 15 minutes to say it. Now a valuable
So
time.
join us tomorrow.
Yeah.
Join us tomorrow as we hear what else
first
GD's
name.
mom has to think.
Yeah, join us tomorrow as we talk about my first name.
Oh my God. Oh, well, there was one N in it, and then she decided, oh, never mind. So now, most of our audience is creatives in some way, performing artists mostly. There were book authors and filmmakers, but a lot of them have this real wall between the creative side and the business side. And I'm finding this is the creative mind anti-business, anti-commerce?
I actually think that there's no separation between creativity and business, and I think that's one of the things that a lot of people are that's tricky. When you think about what creativity is, let's go back all the way in human history. So you have the reason we created wasn't for beauty per se, it was for survival. Like we were creating, how can what's the best way to start this fire? What's the best way to get around? What's even the earliest drawings on walls were documenting, seasons and food and things like that. And so over time,
so creativity is like equivalent to problem solving.
Exactly. That's the point that I'm trying to make. Essentially, creativity in its essence is problem solving. And over time, the more problems we solved, the more we were capable of, expanding what we're allowed to create, especially because our minds are freed from survival mode. Think the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. At the bottom, at the base, is the things that you're yearning for, the things that you need. And the more you go up, the more freedom you have to achieve self-actualization. I believe that right now we're at a point where a lot of artists who are able to focus inward with their creativity are allowed to experience self-actualization. But when you look at creativity as a whole, it's all about problem solving, like you said. And I learned that early on. I was passionate about art. I won tons of art contests. One of my art contests, they flew me out to Italy when I was 13 years old, left my family for weeks, studied under different masters. And on this trip, I realized that there were, before this trip, I was just doing pencil to paper. When I went to Italy, I was like, man, like everything here is art. The buildings are art. The clothes is art. The food is art. And I realized that we're living in a world of art, hence the world of creatives. We're actually living in a world of art. Strip art away, and we're just out in nature. And in a way, that's still art to me. But so we're living in a world of art. And when I came back, that's when I started viewing business as a form of art as well. And so I literally, eventually changed my Instagram handle from I paint, I draw to art of business. I went into business. I started Sparkith, that was on Shark Tank, that taught over 60,000 kids in over 100 countries how to paint and how to draw. And I realized that business is your mind's way of creating scalable solutions to solve humanity's problems.
Wow. Very cool. Why do you think so many performing artists struggle with this, with the business side of it?
Well, see, I mean, it depends on if it's you're talking about the industry itself, like they're battling the industry, because a lot of times the industry has gatekeepers, and that's the thing that's holding back a lot of performing artists.
Yeah.
I feel like right now more than ever is the best time to be a performing artist, because you can own your audience. There's platforms like Substack There's platforms where you don't just have followers. Right now, if you have a bunch of followers on Instagram and you post a picture, it still might get 100 likes.
Right.
If you have a million followers on TikTok, I have a page that has one of my pages has 500,000 followers on TikTok for one of my businesses. I post something on there, it gets 1,000 likes. It's like that doesn't even make sense.
Right.
It's because platforms don't and historically you never really owned your audience. You were just a face. Platforms like Substack, or if you own your newsletter, Patreon, things like that. For the first time ever, you're actually able to own the email address, the direct link. So if they shut down that platform, you can reach your audience. I feel like creatives, not even just performing artists, are just lack the knowledge and know-how, because to be honest, creating art, performing, whether it's comedy, music, being a producer, or whatever you are, that's a totally different skill as marketing and business and PR. I promise you, it's two
Yeah.
totally different things. Now, I will say this: being in both and having conversations with creatives and having conversations with businessmen, I realized that having conversations with businessmen, they are lacking creativity heavily. And if a creator learns the business side of things, they will demolish the businessmen. And it's harder for businessmen to learn creativity, like creative, like to learn, stand-up comedy, or to learn music, how to sing or how to paint, than it is for a creative to learn the business side.
Wow.
I think, and this just occurred to me because I used to, in fact, Mac could probably attest to this. I say that I'm a terrible businessman. I'm a very creative person, but a terrible businessman. And I think now, hearing you say this out loud, that being a creative and knowing that creativity is problem solving, the reason why I'm a bad business person is because I lacked the knowledge and the tools to be a good business person. That had I had those tools, I would have used them in a creative manner to be successful in business, but I did not have those tools. But a person who's mainly focused on business is focusing on how to use the tools he has the way they were meant to be used. But a creative will come in and take those same tools and go, I see your hammer and I'm going to use it as a drill. Okay.
Well, let me say that.
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, let me say this. So 95% of businesses fail within the first few years.
Now, is that a real stat, or is that one that you made up for the purpose of this
conversation?
Seriously.
No, seriously. I wish I could remember the exact amount of years, but maybe someone could Google
it's a lot.
Whatever, but
it's a lot.
Majority. Yeah. So the business owners that succeed, they usually fall into I would say from my observation, one or two categories. Either they were given some sort of hand-me-down, or they were extremely resourceful. So usually when you look at the business people who are extremely resourceful and you think about what that means, essentially they looked at the things that they had access to and they were like, okay, if I could connect this person with this person and I could leverage this here and I could just build an audience here, then I can, push this product here. If I can validate this here, then I could, and essentially what are they doing? They're painting with people and ideas and things like that. They're the same creative process that it takes to paint a picture and to write these is the same thing that they're doing. They just recognize that their tools can be manipulated the same way your tools can be manipulated. And so I think that it's not even about the resources and tools you have access to and the tools I think it's mainly sitting down and thinking, okay, what do I know? What tools do I actually have access to? What tools, what people do I know that have certain resources, and how can I, get over the fear of rejection to kind of bring all of these together and take a couple stabs at a couple different creative approaches. And I think that's probably one of the things. I think a good example of this is when I was trying to, I saw my wife one day. She was pouring different like oregano and basil and different herbs and spices inside of her dog's bowl, and I was like, "What are you doing?" She was like, "Oh, like different herbs and spices has different health benefits for dogs." And so I said, "Oh, why don't you just create like a blend? Like, or is there a blend?" And so I looked it up, and there wasn't a blend of herbs and spices. And so I was like, "I wonder if people would buy this." Now, what would the average creator think? They'll think, "Oh, I need to make this product. I need to go, I need to figure out how to mass produce it. And these are hurdles that I don't know how to do." All I did was say, I know Photoshop. So I photoshopped an image of this product. I put it on a page, and in a weekend they got 100 sales. I emailed those people and I said, "Hey, oh, actually, we're sold out of this product. If you're willing to wait a week or two, like we'll have some more in stock." All 100 of them waited. I went to my wife and I said, "Look, you got to figure out this formula." And then I went and I figured out how to put it in a bottle, and we sold it, we scaled it, and then we sold the business. So it's it's a sense of resourcefulness that I double that word as creativity.
Wow, very cool. I want to talk about obsession because people who have people not the perfume because I stink. People who have seen me work have accused me of being tunnel vision, like extremely like focused. When I'm working on something creative, nothing can distract me, and I'm totally into it to the cost of many relationships in my life. And there is this point where obsession, I feel like, is an important ingredient in creating your art, but you have to know. I don't know if you have to know where your limitation is or what it's going to cost you, and accept the cost of it. What is your philosophy on becoming obsessed?
Good question. Um, so I have a brother, and my brother is he's a multi-platinum producer. He's probably the most obsessed person I know. He's literally always in the studio. He would sleep in the studio for days at a time, and a lot of people look at him and they feel like some sort of negative perception towards them because he's obsessed. And this has happened for years. Like, he's super talented, by the way. Like, he just had the Burna Boy release, just had the Snoop Dogg release. He just won a BET award. He's like legit. So when I first started writing this book, um, at first it was called, like, I was biting off of Robert Greene's 48 Laws of Creativity. And so I was like, 48 Laws of Power. And so I was like, I'm gonna call it 48 Laws of Creativity. And as I was writing it, I started realizing that um creativity doesn't have any rules. There are no laws. There are keys. Like, I could offer you advice, but you don't have to use it. Like,
Right.
your creative process can be yours. Like, for example, like, you could create for an audience of 14 if you want, and start with the audience of 1 and build an audience of 14 if that works for you. Like, I'm giving you just keys based off of research from other creative geniuses. And so when I got to the key of obsession, I realized something beautiful that completely changed my perspective of my brother. Granted, I had no negative perspective of him already. I admired it, but when I say perspective, I really, really admired it. And it was simply this. When I look at the creatives that are obsessed, this is what I noticed. When you're creating, think about what's happening here. You're taking something from yourself and you're putting it in front of you. You're bringing it to life. You're creating form out of something that was inside of you. Um, when you're doing that, essentially, what I view it as is you're able to look at yourself from the outside in, and you could say, "Wow, like I love that," or you could say, "I hate that," or "I just have to," But essentially, what you're doing is you're understanding yourself more. And Leonardo da Vinci once said, great love comes from great understanding of the thing loved. The more you understand something, the more you can genuinely say, like, "Oh, I love that thing." And so when people the more people create, the more they're bringing forth themselves in front of them and can actually look and appreciate what they're experiencing. And the deeper somebody went as a creator, like there's creators, I wish I could remember his name, but he's a famous creator. Like I mentioned in one of the videos, but essentially like he was on his deathbed and he was still drawing. Like majority of the creators that are obsessed are like they have fallen in love and are experiencing love. Like, would you strip away love in this world? Like, would you strip that away? Most people never get to experience the love of self, of a craft, of the world, of the universe that a creator who is obsessed gets to experience. People just think that love is, oh, I have this love for my kid or this love for my wife or whatever. Like, no, there's a love that is equally or greater, like than all of that. And I guarantee you that it comes through the lens of obsessing over a craft, whatever it is.
Now I know my sister was a creative, and she created up until the moment she died, and she actually drawing up until the day she died, and she actually continued to draw several hours after she was dead. I mean, mostly flies, but she did draw.
Jesus Christ, GD. Come on, man.
Yo.
But what I want to say to Matt, when you're being obsessive, the most important relationship is that relationship with you. So obsess over loving you. No, I'm just fucking with you. I know you don't know how to love yourself.
I generally obsess over how I'm going to kill you. This is what I have to say that was probably the best. The drawing flies thing was probably the best delivery of your entire career. We should immortalize that moment.
You know, for a second, you almost sounded like a comedian.
Yeah, almost.
And not just a humorist.
Not like a humorist, but a comedian. So I think it was Da Vinci who said that. Oh, did you hear that? Jordan Peterson coming.
All right, Jordan Peterson, calm down over there. Jeez.
I think it was Da Vinci who said that every work an artist creates is in some way a self-portrait. That quote has been read to me. I'm not sure it's Da Vinci, but that means a lot to me because I'm always looking for myself. And what am I trying to say to myself? What am I trying to expose to myself about myself in my work? Does that statement resonate with you? That every artist, every work an artist creates is in some way a self-portrait?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like by creating art, you are creating yourself.
Right.
There you can't create something without it in return and influencing and changing you.
Yeah. Now you I'm not comparing you to Jesus, so don't get. But your teaching modality is very much in parables and things like this, and the way you is that by intention, or is that just your natural way of kind of delivering a message? Is like parables and ideas like that?
Yeah, I think it's just the way I talk and the way I teach. Well, the way I talk about things that I'm passionate about, and the way I teach.
Right.
And my core passion is creativity. I'll probably talk about this about technology as well, or business when I talk about business. But
you should hear his pickup lines just before the foreplay.
That's good. I like it.
It worked on my wife.
No. Because we had Dylan Brody on last week, and he's a very creative person in many different aspects, and I wanted to ask him about his take on creativity. And he was talking about trying to make a science out of creativity is not, or trying to, I don't know if he said reduce it to science, but he seemed to think that it was an impossible task. Now, I know a lot of what you have done is study, quote unquote, great artists from the past, but his counter to that is there's so many people who were great artists who we don't know about, and maybe leaving them out of the equation leaves us with a lack of like a consistent trail of what really goes into creating art. Does that make any sense?
No, it definitely makes sense. I understand his perspective, but I think that I would say that that's kind of like a logical fallacy in the sense that like there's so much lost history in general. The purpose of history is to just go back and find the clues and piece together what we can. And so that's all I've been doing is piecing together what I can. The reason I started the YouTube channel is because I want to teach people what the clues and things that I've picked up along the way. And I'm hoping that one day it can grow large enough where I can talk to living creators, big and small, and talk about their current creative process and see if I can piece together some more things from the past and the present.
Right.
If I want to take a stab at this, I know because I love stabbing
stabbing.
things. Yeah, I
Let's
love
stabbing.
stabbing things. Stabbity. I when it comes to teaching anything, if you're going to teach anything, you have to limit it in some respects. And creativity is unlimited, but if you're going to teach it properly, you have to set some type of limitations, even though those limitations will perhaps damage what creativity is. It's like teaching. It's like using pi. If we actually use the number pi is limitless. But when we tend to use it in math, we don't use it to infinity. Otherwise, the problem that you're trying to solve, it will also be infinity, and you won't solve that problem. So we limit it to, let's say, 4 places or 6 places. So when people say, well, we're going to use pi, we're solving it out to the 10th decimal place. And I think in talking about creativity and trying to teach what creativity is, since itself is unlimited, we're like saying, we're going to teach you creativity, but we're going to take it out to the 12th decimal place, because if we take it out to infinity, we'll never have a lesson that we can teach you.
Yeah, I think that for me, it's I don't teach very much technique. Like I don't. If you're a painter, I'm not gonna tell you how to specifically become a better technical painter, but I will show you how to unlock the mental cages that you have that will allow you to be a better creator, or even a better creator in the sense of either it's realizing like, oh, I should go and master the techniques, or I'm okay with where I'm at and I just need to express myself, or it's so many variations, and it's one of the reasons why I call them keys, because it's more like I bring my audience into a room with thousands of doors, and I say, here are thousands of keys, but one by one I'm going to tell you what each of them are and what they lead to. But once you have them, you can go choose whatever door you want to go through. You can go through none of them. It's all I care. It's some people who take a key and realize like, wow, like, man, like this is actually something I've been considering, or maybe a thought that I've had that I've never been able to put words to. They go to a door, they open it, and they've unlocked their mind in ways that they didn't know they could.
Well, I was referring to what Dylan's analogy was saying about how many people are out there that are not discovered. That we don't know. That's what I was referring to. So it's like, so it's not that you are trying to represent all of creativity. It's just that. But even if you were aware of every single creative, in order to encapsulate this, you had to set some type of limitations. Otherwise because you cannot teach infinity. You have to limit it so that people will have something to work with.
Yeah, totally.
One of the principles that, and I'm certain I got this wrong because I'm still confused about it, but I know this is my thing in life. Like I will start 15 paintings at once, 4 different songs at once, a movie, all these things. And I think I heard you say that was a good thing, to be kind of working on many projects at once. Maybe I have that wrong. What can you? Because I listen to so much stuff. When I say that to people, they look at me like, "Oh, you can't. That doesn't sound right."
Yeah,
And
but how
I'm
many
like,
do you finish? It's not how many you start; it's how many you finish. Because
Yeah.
the worst finished comedy show is better than the best unfinished comedy show.
That's not a bad point.
I know. I stole it from
Write that down,
Dylan.
Stephen. He made a good point. Not a
I
bad
stole
I'm
that
gonna
from
hit B.
Dylan.
Not a bad point. Write that down. Okay.
Not a bad point. Okay.
Dwayne, do you want to comment on that?
Yeah, no, for sure. And no, you're definitely right. I think that I'm not sure if I said that, especially because the advice that I usually give people is mainly that there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. I think it's natural for creatives to have an abundance of ideas and pursue them as well. But it's when you have that one idea that you keep coming back to over and over and over again, and you don't bring that to life, like that's that's just that's an issue because as a creator and you have a great idea, not just, we have ideas all the time, but a great idea, it's your responsibility to bring that idea to life. Not because I mean, and it's mainly because no other creator is gonna have the same idea, the same life experiences that you had, the same experience, the same perspective of the world, the same unique set of skill sets that you have to bring that idea to life. And so that's essentially like in this core is if you don't bring your greatest ideas to life because you're pursuing all these other things. I tell my brother all the time, I tell him like if a fox is chasing uh, 5 rabbits, they're not going to eat versus if they're just chasing one. And so that's like a saying in and of itself that
say parables. This is kind of funny here. Did you guys purposely put the bald white guys on one side of the screen and the two black guys with the dreads on the right side of the screen? It does look like we did that intentionally.
Actually, just so you know, AI did that. It's the balance thing. It's a balance thing.
Steven, for the record, Steven's not bald anymore. He was bald 3 days ago.
I'm not bald right now.
He was bald yesterday.
Yeah, like I said, I'm a man. I grow hair.
Now, Dwayne, if I may call you Dwayne, no, I'm just now, how often do you get recognized, or your hair is that part of your identity in the sense that if you had an accident, like I had an accident, I hit my head against a wall, and they wanted to shave my head to give me stitches, and I was like, "Fuck no, you're not shaving my head." And so a different doctor came and he goes, no, don't do that because the dreads are actually holding his skin together. Otherwise the skin would have ripped further apart. But yeah. So how attached are you to your dreads and your identity?
Well,
very
probably by the scalp.
Very attached. But yeah, no, seriously. So my dreads, my journey of dreads is funny because it probably started at a pivotal point in life. They're free form, and then my wife pulled them apart, and then she does them. So it's like the tips of them are kind of all unique, different. So like you have like this, you could tell that it started out free form, and so it definitely it definitely is a huge part of my identity. It feels like it tells my life story since I started them in a way. I didn't know that I was going to be creating YouTube videos and like really putting my face out there. I thought a lot of the things I was going to do was going to be behind the scenes. But when I realized that I had too many messages in my head that I needed to share, I was like, hey, like I need to come on screen. And I think it's just funny because I think the way my hair looks matches the messages. Like people comment about it all the time. Like they're just like, you look like a creativity Jesus, or I should write like a creativity Bible. I don't know.
I have one other question about the hair then, because when I started growing my dreads, well, not actually, I'd had them for like maybe 10 years at that point. I started working at a company where there were a bunch of Jamaicans. And they hated my hair. And as a matter of fact, they used to call me a Fosta. And it was because a fake Rasta. They used to call me a Fosta. And it was also because not just the dreads, but the way I spoke, which I did not know that apparently in Jamaica, everyone talks a certain way when you're like at a certain economic level. But if you achieve a certain amount of success, you start to talk like this. Okay, and so to them, I was like an uppity Rasta, and I was wondering if you ever got that as well. Where are you on the country? Are there other Jamaicans?
Yes, I'm in Atlanta, Georgia, but my whole family is Jamaican. I was born in Atlanta. But both my parents are Jamaican. My whole family is Jamaican.
Okay, so you have cred.
I got a little credibility there. Yeah.
Now, GD, GD, if you knew anything about Jamaicans.
I don't, which is why they called me a Fosta. my Jamaican education starts with Bob Marley and then ends with Peter Tosh. I mean, that's it.
Wow.
Well, Jamaican, everyone fall asleep with your stories. Back to you, Dwayne.
Yeah, and this is true. And Ziggy Marley, don't leave Ziggy Marley out of it.
I know. I was being facetious. My God,
Dwayne, obviously there's not enough time here to cover everything that we would love to talk to you about. But I really hope you blow up to the point where every creative who is really struggling and needs advice with their creativity will find you. And that's why I wanted to have you on this program. And I really appreciate you being here. Now, worldofcreatives.com is the main hub where they go. They can get samples of the 48 laws of what is it? Not rules. What is it? Keys.
Yeah.
Of creativity.
48 keys of creativity. So just create or die. If people look up create or die, if that phrase resonates with anybody, they will know that they should probably look up the book.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I appreciate everything you're bringing to the world.
Yeah, man.
I think we need you to blow up. I mean, every creative needs to find you, and thank you for being here.
I wish you success as well, but I'm also very disappointed that you've given Matt so much ammunition to attack other creatives with. I just wish.
Maybe I missed it because I don't have any. I don't know what I would love to attack.
Every time somebody comes on, no matter what they created, someone comes on and says, "I created a turd in the bathroom." Matt would go, "Well, according to Dwayne, you created that turd."
That was creative.
Honestly, maybe it's the dreads, but you have like a messianic hold over me. I say, like, you have this natural guru thing about you. The way you speak is very convincing, and the fact that you bring in actual research facts and stuff is really it speaks to me in like, wow, this guy must know what he's talking about because he's done his homework. So all that stuff plays into.
Dwayne, this is the last hair question, and if you don't want to answer it, I understand it. This may appear to be personal, but it's actually more like advice to other people with dreadlocks. The length of my dreadlocks is so that my wife is comfortable for my wife to use it to guide me during oral sex. So I was wondering if the length of your dreadlocks are in any way a reflection of how long your wife's arms are, or anything like that.
I thought we were getting off Dwayne actually enjoying his stay here, and then you just come in with that.
I'm sorry, I was trying to create a viral moment. Okay. No.
All right. That's fair enough. See.
You don't have to answer that, Dwayne, if you think it's too revealing. I'm just saying it'll be a real punk move if you don't answer it. But no.
I mean, I feel like her arms are, regular, average, above average. I'm just kidding.
All right.
Dwayne knows a little something about giving the ladies a religious experience, don't you, my man? Anyways,
yeah. Thank you for being here, Dwayne. I really appreciate it.
It's a pleasure. It really was.
Thank
you so much.
Bye, Dwayne Walker. Now, it's just a lesson to you guys. I had a great punchline at one point, and I gave it up. I gave it up for the sake of the conversation, because it seemed to me when GD was going off about how his wife said you're still not fine, I just said it's apparent that GD and Blind Mike are actually married. His wife is actually Blind Mike. Anyway, let's do some news and then we'll reconvene. How about that? How about a little news?
Well, I hate to say this, Matt, but you said that I would actually. You came forward and says, I think you would really like Dwayne. I think the two of you have a lot in common, and I would just want you to say, that you were half right. His name is Dwayne. I don't like him. He's a rat. I don't like that son of a bitch. He's too smart for his own good. No, I'm not just teasing. Nah.
Jeez. Well, let's get through news.
See, this is the problem. People can't tell you a joke, and you have to say,
I know. let's get through news because I have a topic.
My wife does say that to me. My wife goes, "It's the look on your face. You don't change it when you're joking and when you're not joking, and people don't know." And I tell her, smart people know.
Yeah.
And if you're dumb, you don't have any business listening to me to begin with. Smart people know I'm joking.
That doesn't.
Like Dwayne knows I'm joking. He's laughing in the background.
But that doesn't because Blind Mike can't see your face, and he can't tell whether it's funny or not either. So I'm sorry to bring up Blind Mike again. I'll get off the Blind Mike.
Well, since Dwayne, since you're still listening, there's a person in the audience. His name is Bear Love. He says that you have a cool channel, and he just followed you.
All right, that's one. Everybody
we just
get on
need to turn that into book sales, and we will have done our job.
Subscribe to the 48 Keys of Creativity. That's what you got to do. That will start you, and then you'll get the book after that.
Dwayne, can you drop a link in the private chat to your YouTube directly?
Just go to the website. There's a link to the right from there.
Yeah, Dwayne, don't work
lazy?
for free. Dwayne, don't work for free. Don't do his job. Don't do his job. He's a producer.
Fine, I'll go to the website. Sorry, I was up emailing porn stars all night with my girlfriend looking at me saying, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Yeah, how's that going? How are we getting any porn stars?
Emailing porn stars with my girlfriend watching. Great.
How's your algorithm?
My algorithm's fucked. My algorithm is it honestly looks like Ron Kane lives in my phone now.
Well, let me just say you have taken Ron's place on this show in that you talk about as much. You didn't offer anything like on that conversation with Dwayne. You were just kind of sitting there thinking, what can I say that's really perverted? And then
I have a show tonight, and I'm in a certain mindset right now. So I'm not in a helpful mood. I'm in a I don't know. I'm just trying.
I don't know if Dwayne covers excuse making.
Steven, you're pole dancing tonight? Where are you pole dancing?
At the Barrel Room at the Fairfield Inn. Subscribed.
Yeah, don't go to that.
Look, it's a free. It's a free show. It's got a decent lineup of the heavy hitters from here in Fort Wayne.
But your Alabama accent got caught up in there. Did you say free show or freak show?
Freak show.
Free show.
FREAK?
Freak.
FREE.
No. He's there.
Well, okay. That's disrespectful, but true. It's a free show. It's at the Fairfield. Come out and have some free laughs. Some of the heavy hitters from the local area are going to be there. It's going to be a good time. And then you'll get a taste of some of the comics that are booked for the Bringer show in July at Summit City.
Whoa.
This whole Bringer show.
When you say heavy, is there like a weight limit to these?
Yeah, there is. This is what's called low hanging.
And when you say the taste,
gentlemen, I guess I can't ever play news, and that's fine.
You can play it tomorrow; it'll still be just as fresh.
Probably right. Probably right about that. But Stephen, just so you know, and our next guest who's coming on in a few minutes, or due in a few minutes, he's not here yet. He's in your neighborhood, your area there. You might want to recruit him because I know you'll be performing for an audience of one.
Okay.
I'm giving you a chance to make it an audience of two.
Annie in California says, "Good morning, Matt, Dwayne, Stephen, GD," and she made the laughy faces.
Wow!
So I think she was enjoying the show.
That's nice that she got your name right because I never get your name right. GD, it is. I thought it was JP Mendelson.
I thought it was JG Wentworth.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was. JD Wentworth Mendelson. JD Wentworth Mendelson. All right. How about news? We got to get to the news really quick.
All right, let's go.
California faced Tuesday's Ninth Circuit hearing challenging the Trump administration's federalization of the state's National Guard.
The case concerns troops deployed to assist immigration and customs enforcement amid protests over immigration sweeps in Los Angeles. A three-judge panel issued an administrative stay, allowing the federalization to continue pending resolution. Californians await the court's decision, which could redefine federal authority over state military forces. Lawrence Keller reporting.
At least 51 Palestinians were killed and over 200 injured in Gaza as civilians gathered for aid distributions in Khan Yunis. Joseph Eckerson with the latest.
Palestinian authorities say Israeli forces opened fire during efforts to reach trucks delivering food, flour, and humanitarian supplies. The Israeli military said it was investigating the incident, stating troops were responding to an identified gathering near aid vehicles. International agencies warn the enclave is nearing famine and urge immediate impartial investigation.
fifth day of airstrikes continued Tuesday between Israel and Iran, following Israel's offensive targeting Iran's nuclear sites.
Sirens sounded across Israel as incoming missiles were detected, prompting citizens to briefly shelter before being cleared to resume activities. President Trump has demanded Iran's unconditional surrender and asserted that U.S. assistance is key in bolstering Israel's strikes. European leaders and the UN are calling for restraint, warning the conflict risks wider regional escalation. Benjamin Wright reporting.
More than 7 people have died and dozens of homes were destroyed by flash flooding in West Virginia, officials reported.
A state of emergency has been declared as rescue teams continue to work amid ongoing rain and rising water levels. Local authorities issued evacuation orders across the hardest hit areas and are deploying National Guard units to assist flood victims. The death toll is expected to rise as rain extends through the week. Jessica Oakley reporting.
A Reuters Ipsos poll released Tuesday finds that 49% of U.S. adults now disapprove of President Trump's handling of immigration, while 44% approve.
The numbers reflect a shift as public attention on border policies increases. The poll marks the first time a majority has expressed dissatisfaction since Trump assumed office. Analysts expect the administration to face mounting pressure in the run-up to midterm and next year's presidential elections. Kyle Norris reporting.
Minnesota is reeling after a gunman disguised as a police officer fatally shot former House Speaker Melissa Hortman and her husband.
Authorities are still investigating whether the attack was politically motivated amid growing concerns over targeted violence. President Trump said he will not call Governor Tim Walz and called him grossly incompetent before labeling outreach a waste of time. Walz has yet to receive a call, while federal officials have mobilized security assistance. Kevin Sanders reporting.
And that's the latest news headlines with Alan Edwards.
Donald Trump has absolutely no class, no humanity.
California faced Tuesday's Ninth Circuit hearing.
How's that happen? The fucking loop button comes off all on its own. Somebody address StreamYard. You're the producer, Mr. Porn Star Man.
Yes.
Mr. Porn Star Man. Mr.
He's the porn star man. Yeah.
He's giving you a number and taking away your claim.
I came across an interview with Tim Dillon on CNN. Have you guys seen it or heard anything about it yet?
I think I know who Tim Dillon is. Maybe you weren't here when I talked about it, but
okay. But yeah, I've watched about half of it already, and I was it's a weird combo of I like how he's explaining comedy, because it seems like the lady interviewing him is really trying to just, I don't know. I'm about halfway through it. I don't have a full opinion about it yet. I don't know. It feels like she's trying to like get him to say certain things, and he does a really good job of just giving these really good, solid answers and explaining things in a way that it seems real safe. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Just for the record, not for the record, so people know what's going on. Bear Love just said that the U.S. numbnuts is being sent, and if it's attacked, it will be the reason we enter the war.
The U.S. Nimitz, not numbnuts, Nimitz,
not numbnuts. Are you sure?
Nimitz, you numbnuts.
Steven, you just ignore him; he'll go away. We're already involved in the war. I appreciate Bears. Yeah, listen, if the Nimitz does get, it will just escalate more. But and we're gonna talk to Jeff Rasley in a minute as soon as he figures out how to turn his camera on.
Trump has every intent. Like, of course, if Trump can be a wartime president for World War III, you think he's not going to take that opportunity? He's a narcissist.
Well, coming back to the Dylan thing, I was just going to comment. Dylan is a hardcore MAGA guy, and he's one of these guys who he was pulling this nonsense that Trump is a man of peace and not a warmonger and all this stuff. Every indication during the first term and in between, when he was running the first time, when he was running the second time, while he was saying, "Yeah, I had no new wars," which was a fucking lie, he was still in the talking like, "Yeah, we'll bomb the fucking hell out of him," and he was mixing in language of the hawk with I had no new wars, which is a fucking lie. So he increased bombings all over the fucking place. The Afghanistan he did not get out of. And he made that.
And he's trying to start a civil war.
Yeah, right. So all of that stuff. Trump is definitely a warmonger. And here's the thing: his head of intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, said to Congress 2 months ago, Iran isn't close to building a nuclear bomb. They're not even trying to build a nuclear bomb. He says, "I don't."
Now they're going to have one tomorrow.
Yeah, and he says, "I don't care what she says. I know they have one."
Yeah, it's like who.
Wait, you hire the best and brightest and not listen to them?
That doesn't make any sense to me. It's like, yeah, they're nowhere close to a nuke, and now they're gonna have one anytime now.
Yeah,
it's like, okay, so what happened in those couple months? Did you guys drop the ball and let them just gather everything they need, or were you just not caring, or were you too busy sucking Putin's dick to not care? Like, what the fuck happened? Like, this is ridiculous. It all sounds like it's shit that Trump wants to happen because it's taking the heat off of him. And it's gonna put him in the history books, and he's getting a boner over it.
I just want to make a slight correction of something that Bear Love said. Bear Love wrote they are decommissioning it, and they made a big deal about it being its last voyage. They literally sent it as bait, like the Gulf of Tonkin. Now, I just want to make a slight correction there. It's the Gulf of America, you bastard. You get it right.
you idiot.
I feel like somebody was watching what's this Kevin Costner movie? Not Field of Dreams, the one where
Blazing Saddles?
Where it becomes the Indian.
Yes.
Tatunga.
Oh yeah.
I think it's the Gulf of Tonkin.
Wolves.
Right?
Tatunga.
And
the wolves.
Yeah, I mean, so back to the Dylan thing. Dylan is one of these people who was very much, if Trump starts World War III, Trump is going to prevent World War III and all this stuff. And that woman was trying to get him to try to move to the left just a little bit, move away from MAGA just a little bit, and he was resisting that. But Dave Smith, who was a guy who was completely a Trump supporter, last night, or not last night, 2 nights ago, with Crystal Ball and our dumb podcast, he said, "I want to apologize for supporting Donald Trump." And this is the furthest I've heard any MAGA person ever go. He said, I want to apologize for supporting Donald Trump. I thought it was a good idea at the time. I thought he was going to be a man of peace. Now, you weren't paying attention, or you just bought into the bullshit.
Right.
But he also went as far as to say he needs to be impeached and removed now because this war with Iran is not sustainable. They have a greater escalation, meaning they have all our bases are vulnerable over there. They have access to all our bases. What do we have? We have an ocean between us and them. We have Israel doing proxy work for us, but it's not. It's going to make the Iraq War look like a short picnic, as far as like a 40-year, 60-year confrontation or whatever. We can't. So good for Dave Smith for finally waking up, but. I don't know. Jeff is still trying to turn on his camera, I guess. Jeff, this is Jeff's 119th appearance on the program. You'd think he'd know how to turn on a camera. Jeff, I know you hear me back there. Jeff, can you hear me back there?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, but we can't see you, you camera face. We got a camera.
I'm clicking on the thing that ought to make the camera on, and nothing happens.
Maybe
are you on Chrome?
No, I'm on Firefox.
Well, Firefox.
Should I switch to Chrome?
Anyway.
Yeah, just switch to Chrome. Switch to Chrome. That should alleviate the issues.
All right, we'll see you in a minute.
Right.
Try Chrome. Firefox is one of the approved things for this anyway. But yeah, so we are the people who keep saying we're going to get into a war. It was our war right from the start. It's Israel. It was green lighted, and now this is the weird thing. Trump is trying to kind of play both sides. I have nothing to do with this. Meanwhile, I warned them, and I told them they have 60 days, and now we know exactly where the supreme leader is, and we're going to kill him. And all we're in the war. The war had started, and we're knee deep in it at this point. So.
I just want to point out something. Anne from California, says that she will never look at dreads the same way again. and I just wanted her to know that information about how dreads are used would be a nice icebreaker in a conversation when you meet someone with dreads.
While we're waiting for Jeff, I'm going to see, and this might be difficult. Oh, he's here already. I want to see, because I came across a picture of a baseball player who I thought looked like a young GD. Now, most people say, hey, they all look alike to you. No, Jeff still got the camera off. Let me just take 1 second to see if I can find that. Then, well, maybe he can.
See, Jeff actually he's probably still trying to wipe off blackface. I bet you he thought today would be, because tomorrow's Juneteenth, he thought we were doing blackface this week. And he's still trying to rub it off. That's why his camera is not on.
Do you guys say, well, this is just Matt saying, oh, they all look alike? Or does this guy
That's
actually
exactly
look
what you're saying. That is like Matt thinks.
Steven, comment, because he doesn't see himself in it. Do you see that looks like GD? A young GD?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. See? They all look like
it's the eyes and it's the eyebrows.
Yeah,
it's the eyes and the eyebrows for sure. It's not anything. You guys don't look the same in the whole face. It's like right there in the eye section.
Just here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. If you guys were both at a glory hole, I couldn't tell the difference.
That's probably because we have the same size gloves.
I don't know who that is, but apparently he sucked. It was with that team for all of like half a season, and then that didn't make the team again the next year. Let's see. Want to just talk to Jeff's icon, his camera icon there? Jeff, how are you? You can hear us, right?
Yeah, I can hear it. This is really disappointing because I would have been the best looking guy on the screen, but
I don't know. That's possibly. You're probably not far off, but I don't know if you probably didn't catch our first hour because we had a good looking man on in that hour. So
I did, and we have more than an audience of one.
So yeah,
shots fired. Let's go.
Oh, well, we'll work with it. I guess I don't know what something happened to your computer since the last time you were here that it doesn't want to recognize your webcam or whatever. But we appreciate you making the effort. You got a new book out, and I'll show the book. You want to talk about the new book, or before we drag you into politics and ugliness? Here's a link to the book, first of all. And we have jeffrasley.com. But also, I want to show the book. Why can't I just show the book? Nothing works around here.
See, I think it's on your side, not mine.
Yeah, no, there's the book. Now, tell us about the book, because you're always writing about all these hippies, because you're a hippie, right?
Yeah, well, formerly. Now I'm just an old fart hippie.
Oh.
So, okay, the book on the surface is sort of a lighthearted story about teenagers on a church camp weekend from two different small towns in Indiana who get into a rumble over a girl. But the more subtle message in the book, which is sort of more culturally, politically relevant to these times, is when you have tribal loyalties and those tribal loyalties are in conflict with each other, how do you make peace? And one character in this book figures that out, which basically comes down to caring for people who are less fortunate than you and showing it, while the boys in the book just want to keep fighting. So it's kind of it's set in 1969, and no matter when it's set, 15-year-old boys are kind of stupid and lead with what part of the body. And
elbow.
It's church related, so I had to be I couldn't use too obvious terms, but so it shows also how girls can be smarter than boys.
Girls can be well. Gigi just proved the old adage: he doesn't know his ass from his elbow or his penis from his elbow. So we appreciate him exposing himself in that way, than in the other way.
They are probably the same size.
Is the book, dare I say, based on a true story?
It's based on a true story. I was in a church camp that turned into a fight with kids from another small town in Indiana, and it's one of those experiences that at the time was really intense, and looking back on it, it was just so hilarious. I thought it would be fun to take off from that experience, and so it's the book's about 50% based on my recollection of what actually happened, and 50% fiction. Hopefully, made it a little more entertaining than the actual experience was.
The earlier in the week, we had a guy on who was the author of a book called Mere Spirituality. And he was talking, and one of the premises he put forth that he is a complete believer in is that people in our culture, in modern culture, not just in the United States, but worldwide, are moving away from organized religions, but becoming more spiritual. And when I think about people who are not necessarily religious, but spiritual, you came to mind because of all your meditation and going to the Himalayas and all all the stuff that you do. Does that idea of people moving away from organized religion but becoming more spiritual, does that resonate with you, or is that just like isolated cases of people like you?
Yeah, it resonates with me in a way. I mean, I think spirituality that's just sort of empty-headed, new age excuse to not go to church can be exactly that, sort of empty-headed. But in terms of destroying organized religion as an authoritarian force that makes people stupider, I'm all for it. And so, but I think there's some really valuable aspects to organized religion when it's done in the right way, which is, bringing people together, engaging in philanthropic, humanistic initiatives. Um, so if you get rid of the religious dogma, trying to get people to believe stuff that's fantastical, and then sets them up to believe in other things that are fantastical, like that Trump would be a good president, it's a bad thing. And that's, when kids grow up being told these, myths, but being told that they're actually true, and then kids start thinking for themselves and realizing this is bullshit. Either it it turns you into somebody who's very gullible and will believe other weird stuff that can be dangerous, or it makes you angry and skeptical. And then
Yeah.
if you're an angry and skeptical type, you go through a period of time figuring out, okay, how do I get past that? And now what do I want to commit myself to?
Where do you think our generation, I'm going to say went wrong, but I want to qualify what I mean by went wrong, because this book is based in 1969. This is a great time. This is when all these people that are on or depicted on the cover of this book, all these people were basically anti-establishment in some sense. Of course, we had a war going on, but they were more enlightened to the fact that, like you say, taking care of people and caring for others and all that stuff. And then at some point, all those people now are like pushing 70 years old, and I don't see any of them still holding true to the principles they had when this book, the period that this book was written about. They seem to have abandoned all those and become the establishment grandfathers, grandmothers. What is it? Just a matter of age that happens to people? It didn't happen to you. It didn't happen to me. How did our entire generation become Trumpers?
Well, the statistics show that actually the the Gen X generation has the largest percentage of Trumpers.
I know, yeah, I know
the sort of the 40, 50-year-olds, the 60,
but all my
70,
John
80.
Lennon heads, all my John Lennon devotees are now Trump devotees, and that just what happened to you?
Yeah. So, well, here's my experience. Almost all of my friends from my small town in Indiana who left Goshen and went out into the world, got educated, moved to more cosmopolitan places, traveled around the world, that sort of thing, are not Trumpers. Almost all, with a few exceptions, who stayed in Goshen, graduated from high school, went to work in the local factories or, businesses, did very little traveling. In other words, remained in kind of this little bubble that they grew up in, became Trumpers. And that includes the kids who were pot smoking hippies in high school. If they stayed at home, they turned into Trumpers.
Do you think that, in my humble opinion, and I'm almost always right.
You're never humble, though.
Yeah, well, I'm just being humble about how humble my opinion is.
Anyways, to your opinion.
Yeah.
Right. It seems that a lot of the people who cling to Trump are people who are afraid of losing something, whether that's something is real or imaginary. And so that's why they clung. I mean, when they were free-loving hippies, it was like they had nothing to lose. Freedom is another word for nothing left to lose. Okay, and then
look at Chris Christopherson. He turned black on me.
And then all of a sudden, they have something that they either fought for or earned, and they're like, wait a minute, I don't want to lose this. Is this being taken away from me, real or unreal? And those are the people that clung to Trump, in my humble, often right opinion.
Yeah.
Well, I wrote one of the books I wrote was titled 72 Wisdoms, and it was full of, it had 72 sort of wise statements, which I then took off on and, delved into what was behind it and so forth. And one I should have included but didn't was from Forrest Gump, which is stupid is as stupid does. And
love it.
The people that we're talking about who, I call them my left behind friends. They were left behind in Goshen. That you're right that they, they didn't evolve, past sort of what their parents wanted them to be. And they grew more into what their parents wanted them to be, even though there was a period of adolescent rebellion among a fair number of them. So, why was that? Yeah, safety, security, comfort, all those things that I think you were indicating, because it's risky to go out in the world and backpack around the country or motorcycle or hitchhike or whatever. And so if you don't do that, then you're where you were to begin with.
What's ironic to me is you see a lot of the people who are afraid of white people becoming the minority in America. They state this out very clearly, that this is their fear of white people becoming the minority. Those are the same people that deny there's any privilege to being white. So what are your friends? Why is that a problem if you become a minority then? I mean, you can just call it majority rather than call it white and say, well, if you're afraid of becoming a minority, then you're admitting that there's a privilege. There's something to be lost from being the majority, right? Yeah. Oh no, we can't go there. It's just really ironic that the same people who would deny that there's any benefit to being born white will be the first ones to say, well, we can't allow the white people to become the minority. Well, why not? I mean, I'm not saying that I'm rooting for that, but it's just really weird to wrap your head around. Like, they don't hear themselves speaking sometimes.
Well, let's be honest. 9 out of 10 mixed race babies are much better looking than single race babies. It's a fact.
That's generally true. I mean, yeah, that's factual. Wow. No, I mean, you're not wrong though. I mean, Yeah. So Jeff, are you still in Goshen?
No, I live in Indianapolis, but I also
cool.
lived in London and Chicago, and I've been to over 50 different countries, 49 states. So,
Ooh, holy shit!
I
Which state are you missing? Which state are you missing?
North Dakota.
Really? Oh, damn. Okay, I'm missing Hawaii. But actually, if you've been to South Dakota, you're really missing North Dakota. No, I'm just teasing.
Well, I was in South.
No, I was just. Well, I was just curious because I live in LaGrange, but I've lived in a few spots around the country, so I was just curious where you were. In
LaGrange, Indiana.
It's pretty neat. Oh yeah.
Wow. Well,
I grew up in South. I grew up in South. I grew up in South Bend, and then I grew up in Alabama, and then moved back, and then I've been in LaGrange and Fort Wayne, kind of back and forth.
You grew up twice. That's interesting.
And
well,
Steven, does that story get any better? Steven, does that story get any better? Because you've been talking for 30 seconds, and not once did you mention your mother. That story seems so motherless.
Your dreads look like the perfect length for my arms. So
I apologize, Jeff, but I'm sure if it were just you and I, it would not be this stupid. But it is.
I did want to point out, Jeff, that you were talking about the rebellious phase of, I guess, youth. And I guess in my mind, it's not rebellion as much as it is just testing. They want to see what they can get away with. It's not like they're rebelling; they're just learning. They're learning the limits. And when they find when they find out the limits are scary, then they don't go any further.
That could be.
I went full rebellion as a teenager, man.
No,
I did. I was.
How about letting Jeff talk?
Yeah, Jeff, you talk. Agree
Go
with
back
me.
to sleep, you fat. Oh, I'm sorry.
Well,
oh my God.
In response to the racist aspect to Trumpism, I completely agree with that. But I think there's another aspect to it, and it may be, connected with the racist aspect to it, but that is a lot of the more intelligent, more educated Trumpists are fascists. I mean, they won't admit it, but they simply are. And they dig the whole authoritarian Trump approach to governing. And I know a number of people, and I interviewed a bunch of people like that, highly educated, very intelligent people who voted for Trump in one of the books I wrote called Polarized. And what these people, they feel that, the fear about the whites becoming a minority in America. But the other thing is they think it's all getting out of control and they want order. And if you're sort of an anal fixate personality in Freudian terms, and highly intelligent, you look around, you say, okay, so what are the possibilities of making America more orderly? Forget about the great again. And Trump, he looked like the only option. The Democrats are messy. It's just, trying to this big umbrella and bringing everybody in and worrying about all of these many, many issues. Let's simplify it. Let's make it more orderly. And also, let's give me a big tax break.
Almost every solution that the right comes up with requires tax cuts for billionaires for some reason. Like that's part of it. But I do think you're right that the Democratic Party has become so impotent or so even conflicted within itself. Like nobody wants to claim liberal anymore. I'm a progressive. Well, what the fuck is the difference? But I'm to the point where I'm saying the two-party system. Donald Trump has been very effective in eliminating the two-party system or changing it from Republican to Democrat to either, and let's see if you agree with this, I think you will. I think you are either an anti-fascist or you're a fascist. and they won't come out and obviously if you're on the right side of that, you're a fascist, or not the correct side of that, the right wing side of that, you're a fascist. But they're not going to come out and say, yes, I'm a fascist. They're just going to bury it in language like the Democrats. Look, Democrats are communists, or whatever the fear word they're going to bring up. But I do think we're at a point where there are really two sides. There have always been just two sides, but the two sides really are: you're either pro-fascism or fascist, or you're anti-fascist. And I'm proud to say I'm anti-fascist. I don't align with the Democratic Party. I think they're ineffective, and I think they are not going to help us get out of this. What's your take on what I just said?
Yeah, I agree that the most important division right now is fascism and anti-fascism, and I think there are still a smattering of Republicans who think their party can be saved from Trumpist fascism, but I think that number has declined dramatically. And I think there's a lot of Democrats who don't yet, although it's hard to believe this, especially after January 6th, but who don't yet see how terribly dangerous Trump's fascism is to, the things that most people who believe in the democracy, messy as it is the right way to govern, or at least a democratic republic is. And having a constitution that is actually followed, and judges that try to enforce the Constitution and laws that were properly passed, and giving people due process and respecting civil rights, and all of the sort of the fundamental things that the Democratic Party represents when it's at its best. But yeah, it's the Democrats are this progressive versus conservative Democrats. I mean, in a way, it's kind of a silly dispute when, what's at stake is so much more important.
Yeah, it's really because we're seeing a lot of people who used to call themselves Democrats move over and cozy up to MAGA. It's hard to believe that the Democrats are going to be any kind of solution or any kind of way out of this tunnel of fascism and just outright just hate that is being, and so we can't count on it. We can't count on the Chuck Schumers of the world to get us out. Oh, another harshly written letter. And then when you see people like Fetterman and Tulsi and all these people who were on the left or were registered Democrats now becoming Republicans and getting, I saw Fetterman totally behind this Iran war. We're in war with Iran. People aren't saying it, but it's just really, where is it? Are you hopeful?
No, I wish I was, because I think it's healthier to be optimistic, but no, I mean, my biggest worry is that Trump will use the military to declare martial law domestically, and I think that's a real possibility, and I think some people have realized that, and there may be a growing realization of it. But when he decimated the top of the Department of Defense and the military, you now have people who are loyal to Trump, not to the Constitution, in charge of the military. And whether the Supreme Court stands up to him or not could become irrelevant if he decides to declare martial law and just impose his authority through military force.
Yeah. We're not talking about your book here. Presbyterian versus Methodist Youth Group Rumble in Pokagon Park, a novella. Now that's a long. People are just kind of putting this back out here. We're probably going to go back to politics in a moment, but that's a long title for a novella. And people always say to me, I title things way too long. That seems to be you don't care. You just see, I'm going to do it
Well,
my way.
you've actually criticized every one of my books that we've talked about for that very same reason, and you may be right. I mean, you probably know more about marketing than I do.
I hate
but
to be
I
right
can't
in
help
this
it.
case. Yeah, I know. But believe me, I feel for you. You're sticking to your creative vision of what it should be, and not giving into the what capitalism tells you is probably a better way to go. I appreciate
Matt,
that.
just so you know that the original title was Presbyterian versus Methodist Youth Group Rumble in Pokagon Park, a novella. You have to buy the book.
Oh, you have to buy the book. Yeah, you have to buy the book, and there's a link to you can buy the book and get all of Jeff's books from there. You can go to about the author and then show all his books right there. But yeah, you know what? I would have just named it. What went wrong with the hippies? What went wrong with the hippies?
Well, but first, Stephen, do you want to correct these two Long Island types about the correct pronunciation of that park?
Pokagon.
Thank you. This Pokagon, what is that?
Some sort of
Euro liberal
It's like Pokemon in a park.
Yeah, Pokemon gone astray.
Hey,
Sorry.
Hey, Jeff, good thing you didn't use Potawatomi because he would have had a stroke.
Yeah,
I had a stroke.
Actually, that one I would have gotten because I recognize that tribe.
Yeah, you know what? If that park relocated to Long Island, it would be Pokagon. Come on. It's just,
if it moved to Long Island, it would be gentrified and be called White Man's Park.
What are you saying about
White
Long
Man's
Island?
Park, reclaiming our history, a novella.
Well, yeah, I'm a little offended. Anyway,
are you sure you're not long offended?
Yeah.
Anyway,
so rumbles are a thing of the past. I don't know. Rumbles. Stephen, you're a younger person. Did you have rumbles when you were in high school, or just really? Because that was our thing. We would invent reasons to find another town to fight with.
Oh, dude, all the time. I mean, both in Alabama and in Indiana, that was a regular thing.
Did anybody bring you? Did they bring you to the fights?
Oh, I regularly would fight. I still fight. I love fighting. Matt, here's the thing. People look at me and they're like, oh, look, there's a guy in a wheelchair, easy target. And then they get in my face and they don't realize once I get my hands on them, they're fucked.
I would just think my main tactic is running away. And I was just thinking, how would you do that?
Oh, no, I'll fight somebody whether I know I'm going to lose or not. I'll go at it. I don't care.
So you're basically admitting to being stupid. That's fine.
This is truly a generational difference because when I was growing up, fights out in the parking lot, fights in the playground, at every level from grade school through high school were just routine affairs. When my kids, who were millennials, were in school, it was this zero tolerance policy. If you even pushed another kid, you got suspended.
Yeah.
Whereas in schools when we grew up, if you got in a fight, well, you got taken to the principal's office or something like that. I mean, there was some immediate consequence, but you wouldn't be suspended. I mean, geez.
So you're not
one at a time.
At my school, if we went into a fight, sometimes the two people who had the fight were placed like with gloves, and they just sanctioned it in the gym. It's like, no, we're going to do this. If you're going to do this, we're going to do this and sell tickets.
That was just a capitalist thing, looking for the next black boxer to cap.
That's it. They were looking for the next Ali.
Yeah,
we wouldn't have it with the white kids. This fucker. No,
that's right. No,
well, let me go ahead and throw this up real quick. So, because that's some breaking news. You do get mashed potatoes. That is true. And then it really depends though, because like in Indiana, if you got in a fight, whether at school or not, if the school found out, you got suspended. Yeah, zero tolerance. But in Alabama, for example, it wasn't really like that. Like if you got in a fight, as long as it wasn't happening like in the hallway, the school didn't care.
Wow.
So it kind of varied. But
I want to kind of segue this kind of.
Do you think the presence of, or the omnipresence of video, devices like cameras and stuff have altered the way we have confrontations in public. Because at some point we used to, it's like people like they might wolf at each other, but there was like no throws being no
Look
throws.
at Chris Christopherson coming up with the good questions. I like this question.
And then but then the advent of the cell phone, it's like, oh no, you're not going to punk me in front of millions of people. I'm going to like hit you, and then we're going to go world star. You know, that whatever that means. Is that a thing still? World star, is that still a thing? I don't know.
All right,
it is, yeah, but that was very much, that was after my time though. Like when at least when I was a kid and we still fought, it
go
wasn't
back to doing
like
your
put
Ron
on the
Kane
internet.
imitation.
So.
Thank you. Jeff, because you're talking about schoolyard fights, and my mind goes back to, well, he started it. And last week on the platform that I'm currently banned from for could be 7 days, could be forever. I brought up that Israel and the United States initiated this war with Iran, and people say, "Oh, you don't know what you're talking about. What about October 7th? And then what about this? And what about going back and back?" And so the idea is, yeah, we can go back forever and say, "Well, we've held this grudge for a while," but who really started the war? There were no missiles flying back and forth last Wednesday. Then last Thursday, there were missiles going back and forth. Who started that? That's what it really comes down to. People just want to go back and trace the roots of conflict and say, well, Israel didn't start it. Look at Iran, whatever.
It started in the Garden of Eden. If Eve
October
had not bitten the fruit from the forbidden tree of knowledge, she wouldn't have known how to build missiles to fire.
I'm trying to go, Jeff, into being not anti-Israel, but just coming out and saying something that will cause controversy about because I think Israel is doing the wrong thing here. What's your take on this, Jeff?
Well, I think it started in 1947 when the UN said, "You're a nation."
Yeah.
But you're a nation. Anybody. You're a nation is just something everybody does.
God damn it, GD. I'm going to mute GD here for the next 15 minutes or
Listen, you got a low-hanging fruit quota. You're way past that already. You've already done 15 of them today. Let that one go.
But yeah, I mean, really, when the nation of Israel was created, which, I mean, if you were Jewish, absolutely, you would be for that. I mean, how could you, after the Holocaust, how could you not feel like we need a place where we are safe, where it's our own country, where we can protect ourselves? I mean, absolutely. But on the other hand, these other people already living there. And so a whole bunch of them got displaced. And if you're a Palestinian, how could you not resent that, especially if you were in the Palestinian diaspora? And it's just this, this, like, I think every one of us here, if we were Jewish, especially back at that time, we would be Zionists. If we were Palestinians since then, we would be Hamas. I mean, it's just each side has been wronged, and each side is convinced that they're right and they need to protect themselves. So how do you end that? It's I mean, you can look at other models and you say, oh well, look at Ireland and England, or look at North Ireland, but the difference was that this was, it was created by outsiders, that the Brits, the Americans, the UN decided this is what's going to happen to these people. And sure, the Jews actually moved there and were the people that settled there and the people that created the nation, but they also did it with a tremendous amount of help. And so how could the Palestinians not resent this? And how do you get the Palestinians to accept this wrong that's been done to them? And yet, how do you Jews historically, need to have a place where they can feel safe, that it's theirs, because in every single country, including our own, Jews have been mistreated.
Right. Well, it would have made much more sense to me. And listen, this is why I'm not a leader in the world. This is one of the many thousands of reasons I'm not. But it would have made more sense to me to put Israel in Berlin. Just carved out a chunk of Germany and give that to the Jews as a payback for the Holocaust. But that didn't happen. And just to push back on what you said, just a little bit, is I had an author on who was a Jewish person who went to Israel and studied 1947, 1948 very closely, and she was talking about atrocities that Israel did. It seemed like and the word gets tossed around, genocide, at the time going on in Israel, perpetrated by the people who were building Israel as a nation. I don't know anything about that and don't claim to know anything about that. But, this idea of can't we all get along, it's not going to happen.
This is something that Jeff kind of triggered in my mind. We're talking about if we were Jewish and we would probably be Zionists, but at least back at that period. There's in the 1800s, there was a movement to get then Africans, or enslaved Africans, back to Africa.
In my neighborhood, they used to say best way to make America. Well, they didn't say make America great again, but they used to. I'm not kidding. The idea was to send them all back to Africa, swimming back to Africa with a Jew under each arm. That was what people said in the streets of Long Island. Yeah, I mean,
that racially balanced neighborhood of Long Island.
I didn't say racially balanced.
No, I'm there. Well, they have to be, otherwise why would they use two Jews for buoyancy?
Well, yeah, right. Whatever.
Well, see, in my hometown, Goshen, we solved the problem before it started. It was a sundown city. So
yeah, that's true. That's not too far from where my grandpa did the KKK stuff.
Yeah. Wow. So yeah, I mean, I don't see a peaceful way out of what we've already started, but it's clear that last week at this time there was no war, and now there is a war. So that who started it really? The question is who's going to end it, and how do we end it without destroying the planet? That should be the question. Who started it? But they were, because Scott Jennings, who was a CNN, he's a Trumper who was on CNN, the lone Trumper on CNN. He was there, and he was saying Israel is in the fight for its life and its survival. I said, well, maybe they should have not started. Maybe one of the solutions is just to not send bombs over there, and then they wouldn't be in this fight for their life. And that didn't go over well. I got attacked by everybody who said, "Oh, you're not paying attention to the history." I know the history, but I know last week there weren't bombs flying in both directions. So I don't know.
The other thing is the fundamental premise here is that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. Right. And so that's what is the justification for all of this. And yet, North Korea has a nuclear weapon. Right. India and Pakistan have a nuclear weapon. I mean, India and Pakistan have been fighting a sort of, small wars for, since the creation of India and Pakistan. And they're both nuclear countries. They haven't used it.
Right.
I mean, why is Iran this exception that we all accept the sort of that mad mutual assured destruction works?
Right.
Since the Americans dropped the bomb, nobody else has, because the theory is we're all too afraid to actually use it, because if one uses it, others, and so forth. So. Right. If that theory, which historically has proved correct, why shouldn't we let every nation, not just Iran, every nation become a nuclear power? And then
isn't that a lesson that we should also have learned from Ukraine, because Ukraine gave up their nuclear weapons and now they're like ass deep in a battle to keep their sovereignty from being taken away by Russia.
Yeah, but this strikes me as, and I'm not disagreeing with you here. I don't know what the solution is, but it strikes me as almost the same argument about gun control. And if we say, well, why don't we just arm everybody? And that,
the difference that's slightly different.
Everybody is.
That's true. That's a good point.
And it doesn't work. But with nuclear missiles, there's the cost is much with nuclear weapons. The cost is much greater,
and you don't have to have great aim.
And with guns, people think of that more personally. They don't think of it nationally. And they say nationally that everybody should have guns, but they're saying every individual should have a gun. When it comes to nuclear weapons, if Russia dropped a bomb in Ukraine, we're going to smell the radiation.
So the bottom line here is there won't be peace on Earth until Indiana figures out a proper way to name its parks. Right?
Yeah, pretty much.
or maybe until 15-year-olds figure out a better way to decide who gets the girl.
All right, that's a cool
I think the girl should just have multiple partners. That way, everybody gets a piece.
I thought Steven was taking Ron's place on this show, and now
he's gross.
A Ronish. That's what we call a Ronish, and I don't know if you will know that about the business, but that's what we call a Ronish in the business.
Which is kind of like ironic, but it's a little ishier.
That's true.
It's ironish.
So, Jeff, now is there an audiobook out for this long-titled Presbyterian book about hippies?
Not yet, but I'm actually taking interviews from professional narrators to create the audiobook now. So it'll probably be out within a few months.
So not GD, because GD has a very good speaking voice. He just can't read. He can't even read his own writing. But I would love to hear him actually narrate a novella or a book or whatever you want to call it.
Tomorrow I will read my script so that people can hear my wonderful reading voice.
We hear you reading every morning. Good morning, America, and you get that part right. And from there on, it's...
That's because, first of all, I can't read my writing because there's no light here. I don't have a light down there.
He reads like a blind Mike.
And also, since I just literally wrote this, like maybe moments before I read it, I'm thinking to myself, is that what I really wanted to say? I just wrote this 30 seconds ago. Yeah. And so I'm like proofreading, rereading, and rethinking the whole thing all at once.
So what you're saying is Jeff should not hire you to read his book?
Well, I think his book is already written. I just have to read it once or twice to make sure that I'm saying Indiana towns correctly.
All right, your poker gun.
Well, go to audibleacx.com, and you have to try out for it, and the competition is hot and heavy.
Hot and heavy.
Hot.
I thought you wrote the book, not Ron Kane.
Hot and heavy is my middle name.
Wow.
Well, you have that deep, mellifluous voice, so you would be great.
Oh, that's gas.
Good morning, America.
That's gas. Once I burp, it's like, I sound like Matt. What's that voice? Once I burp, I sound like Matt.
Yeah, not Jordan Peterson. Jordan Fenderson.
Actually, my real speaking voice is, yeah, the boss. I have to read that book real good when I was in the school.
So she's just saying, this is GD's way of saying Carol's not home right now.
You're right.
Well, I think that them Ebonics kind of narrative would go off just perfect for these small town white kids.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, man. I promise you, man. You go over there and you head down to Napanee, man, they'll pick it up real quick.
What the hell is wrong with him? Why did you bring him?
That's Amish country.
So it's about time that we put Jeff out of his misery, and I don't mean kill him. I mean just let him off the program. Jeff, now my wife has taken to pickleball, thanks to you.
Right on.
And, now she wants to drag me into it, and I don't know if you don't know this about me, but I've never been out of this chair, so it's going to be very difficult.
Me neither.
He just has a hole in the bottom with a bucket. He does not leave.
Oh, is that? Should I have had a hole with the bucket? Because
Matt hasn't had Matt. Matt hasn't worn pants since 2004.
So now she's gone totally into this pickleball thing again because of you. But she bought a home because she's in a pickleball league and a pickleball this, pickleball that, and now she bought a pickleball court for me to build in my house, in my yard, and she says it can't be played on grass. Is that true?
That is true, and you should always listen to your wife because she's obviously a very wise woman, and knows whose lead to follow.
All right. Why can't it be played on grass? Tennis can be played on grass. Badminton can be played on grass. Why can't pickleball be played on grass?
Matt, have you looked at a pickleball?
I have, but I mean, so what? It does it have to bounce? I mean, and it will bounce a little bit on my grass.
If the ball doesn't bounce, the game won't take very long.
That's what I like.
If it doesn't bounce, then it's almost like you need lacrosse sticks or highlight handle.
I'm just thinking that the chair won't roll very well out on the grass is why. She's dying to get me to play, and it's all your fault. I will blame you eternally for me becoming if I do become a pickleballer. You will never hear the end of it. Anyway,
I accept that blame with honor and humility.
All right. The name of the book one more time for people, and go out and get the novella. You got to buy the book. It's called Presbyterian versus Methodist. I don't fall into either one of those. I'm an agnostic. I learned that.
You're a heathen.
Youth group Rumble in what's the name of it, Stephen?
Pokagon.
Pokagon. Why does it look like Pokagon? No, Pokagon. So the A is long. Pokagon Park novella, Jack's coming of age adventure mystery romance series. Kind of a long title, don't you think? Anyway,
you got to buy the book.
Yeah, you do have to buy the book. Jeff, it's been a pleasure once again having you on. You're welcome back anytime. You don't have to wait for me to invite you. You could just go to the calendar anytime and put yourself on there. I hope you know that.
I do now.
Okay.
But thanks. It was great being with you, Matt. Guys, I appreciate it. Even though you can't see it, I'm giving you the folded hands namaste. Good.
And I was about to say,
he's holding up a pickleball. He's holding up a pickleball for you.
Yeah, I was just about to say, it's great seeing you again, Jeff. I like the work you've done with your face, with the little line and the little.
He made himself look like a camera with a slash in it. That's really weird. Anyway, be well, Jeff. Good luck with the book,
right.
And we'll help push it if we can. Thanks for being here. Bye for now. Jeff Rasley, folks. I have Jeff's website in the description too, so you can go directly to his website, or you can go to Amazon where the book is, and then find out about all the rest of it.
Where the books are, there's
books
like 14,
but no,
14 or 15 books.
That link will take you directly to Presbyterian versus Methodist Pokagon Park.
Pokagon.
That's what I call schlong division.
You guys,
that's what I call.
Oh, it loops.
This never used to happen before. StreamYard did something. They broke the loop button. And are we the only ones that broke the loop button before?
I don't know.
Is the loop button, like if I push the loop on, is it on for everyone or is it just on for me?
Yeah. Do you see it on now?
Because when Steven did that, I just looked at the loop and the loop wasn't set. That's why I asked. The loop was off.
No, see, this is where it gets confusing. If the button is pushed, it's not looping. If the button is unpushed, it naturally loops. This is what they don't tell you. So right now, I don't know, you see it now highlighted. The button is highlighted, right? This is interesting for the folks at home, I'm sure.
Okay, no, right now it's just a little square with no highlight.
Really? Mine is highlighted?
No, it's highlighted.
Mine is not highlighted.
I can't even unhighlight.
Okay, mine is not highlighted. I'm going to press an asset to see if it loops. How's that sound? This is just a
test.
I'm
a test if you got to buy the book. We need
What's in the box?
Hold up. Did somebody push the second one?
No, I didn't touch that one.
Are you high right now? Are you high right now? Are you high right now?
I know. I'm doing that because I'm a dick.
Oh, okay. I thought
I'm
it was going on this. Okay.
You didn't know I was a dick?
I knew you was a dick. I didn't know. Because I'm in trouble.
What a dick.
I'm in observation mode, and I just see it going on to the next thing, and I knew I didn't push anything.
You're pushing my buttons.
Well, I can't help it. I'm just that hot.
Haven't done this one in a while.
Your best and hottest.
That's tasty.
So tomorrow I have tomorrow's Juneteenth, by the way, which means nothing in America anymore. Tomorrow we have somebody named Christian who's not a Christian. But does that make sense? I don't know. Nothing I say makes sense, does it?
I mean, it can make sense.
How does it make sense, Stephen? How?
I don't know.
See that? Oh no!
It just does.
Tomorrow, somebody named Christian. I gotta look up who the hell is Christian. We know something about Christian, don't we? Check out where go. I don't know, but I have to. Oh, he's the proprietor of autograph.ai.com /AI.com. Autograph hyphen AI.com. What do you think that's all about? You want to know?
I don't know, but Stephen has a gift in IG.
I do.
One thing that I think it was Bill Rhodes that said something about me urination, right? Is this what Matt sits down for urination? We learned this yesterday. No, what we learned was not yet. We learned I lean forward. We learned that Jackie sits down, and he has recommended it to me, and I think that it's in my future. We didn't determine that I do it now. I don't do it now, but very
me, it depends on how sleepy I am. In the middle of the night, if I'm really tired and I don't feel like aiming, I will sit down.
How many times do you get up with the prostate thing? You don't have the prostate
actually, I don't get up with the prostate thing. I get up because my cat wakes me up, and then once I stand up,
So your cat has a prostate thing.
And once I stand up,
Does the cat wake you up before you go?
No. The cat wakes me up because something's going on outside, and she wants me to investigate.
So if you needed a reason not to go to wherever Steven's going to be performing tonight, you just got it. That's his fucking funny. That's his funny. Is the cat wake you up before you go? You feel embarrassed about that? You feel like you regret? Do you feel remorse for even telling that?
Right now, Steven is just thinking to himself, I should just say I'm a humorist so I can avoid.
Oh, look at that. I'm playing pickleball. Well, that's pretty damn good, isn't it?
Yeah, that was the gift from Bill Rhodes.
Well,
except for that's a left-handed paddle, and Matt has got it in his right hand. That's not.
Also, the mustache is much darker than it is here this morning. The mustache needs a touch-up. I noticed that. Yeah. Well, not bad.
Whoa, come on. That's
look.
You're getting sleepy.
Look, you can tell
way too close. Come on.
This is really good. He got the soulless, dead look in his eyes. Anyways,
let's wish Stephen good luck in his. This is obviously his last show on the program, and we would like to wish him farewell. And we hope. Dwayne Walker was pretty good, don't you think? Dwayne Walker
was good. Yeah.
You see why I was excited. You know what? People should go to Create or Die. And
here comes GD with the critiques. Ready and action.
What?
The face you made? You made the face like you spelled doo-doo. When he said he was great.
No, that's not the face I'm making. This is the face that I had a picture that I wanted to show, and I didn't want. When I go to pick a picture on it, it automatically covers everything instead of going into the room, and so I didn't want to do that, and now I got to find it again.
Are you high right now?
Is your mama high right now?
Oh, probably.
I wish. It's not good when you run out of weed. I don't know if you know this about me, but I like weed. Did you know that?
My dispensary had a really good deal on vapes. It was seven for $60, and they were 2 grams each. And so they're the big vapes. And my brother picked up 7 of them for $60.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for reminding me of why I brought up tomorrow, because this guy Christian coming on here, the autograph-ai.com. I have to go to a dispensary tomorrow. I have to be there shortly after noon, so I might have to end the program just a little early, unless you guys want to continue on. And when you can make that call.
When is this, tomorrow?
Yeah, this is tomorrow.
Yeah, we're fine. Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
you can make it on the spot. Either we want to continue on or not.
Right.
But
yeah.
So I'm being recruited by Strange Stars. They want to talk to me about taking over their marketing. Strange Stars. I have mixed emotions about it. In one way, I look forward to getting free white weed.
Now, how old was that man that y'all thought looked like me? How old was he?
I said he looked like a young you. I would say.
Okay, how young?
Probably 30.
No. He was a rookie. That was his rookie year. So he was probably 20, 22, 23 tops. You don't have 25 years.
Okay, this is me at 20.
Skinny.
Can you zoom it in?
I don't know. I don't know if I can or not.
What a little skinny.
Oh, I got it. Never mind.
First of all, this is
okay.
We've ascertained why GD.
You almost look like a young Jimi Hendrix.
Well, this is the problem. We figured out why GD sucks as a musician, because he's got this fucking low hanger. You can't be a low hanger. You got to be a high hanger. You got to be at bust level to play right. You can't. You need these guitar players who sling. You can't. There's a whole thing on slinging versus holding the guitar in the proper position. And he's look at him. He's trying to be a rock star. He's slinging. He's trying. Look at my dick. Don't listen to my bass playing. Whatever. So.
Look at my dick.
There you go.
I don't know if I can make this any larger, guys. I'm sorry, Steve.
No, I can see it now. It looks good. No, it was my fault. You're good. Yeah, you. Ooh, man.
Well, how did you make yours larger, Steven? What did you do? Is there a button?
I think it was a different.
I went full screen.
Yeah, mine.
Oh, because you're just sharing an image, and he was sharing a screen tab or whatever.
Right.
And
right.
So
yeah.
So you were still black then when you were young?
Yeah. As a matter of fact, these pictures were all taken on the same night, and you can see how I changed complexion with the song. I was a chameleon.
Yeah, that's interesting. You're like a mood ring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I played sad songs, I was a little more blue.
I think I see it now. My eyes are not that good, but it looks like you got one of those gooseneck fucking mic stands, which I would fucking shoot you on sight if I saw that.
Yes, I did have a gooseneck stand because my teeth. I did not like people seeing my mouth, and so I used to position the mic so that people wouldn't see my mouth open; they could just hear me sing.
Bill says we're about to lose all our dispensaries. Now I wouldn't know you even had any. Well. They're taking away medical. He Bill's in Texas, by the way, Austin, Texas. They're taking away the medical dispensaries that already exist down there. Is that what I'm hearing? That's not right. If people are using it for, it's hard because I lied. I didn't lie, but I didn't need it for medical. I wanted it for recreational, but I used medical as an excuse before it was legal here, recreational. I'm
100% like
100%
back
what?
medical marijuana. I back it 100%. Like it's kept me out of pain management. Like instead of taking like hardcore painkillers and shit. Like it's a game changer. I recommend it over. Well, dude, I was taking 60 milligrams of oxycodone twice a day, and
So
I was a fucking zombie.
You're a heroin.
No, once I got to the point where when I would run out, I would panic. That's when I decided I was done taking it because I knew it was starting to become a problem. So I stopped taking it completely, and it's had nothing for a few years. And then finally, my uncle was like, "Hey, try smoking weed. It helps me," and it was a game changer.
Well,
because I can smoke just to hurt and not be high.
Game changer. You keep saying game changer.
Yeah.
It's okay as long as the game you're changing to is not pickleball.
100% agree.
That's called a callback.
Yeah.
You can look that up in the comedy dictionary.
No, I know what that is. Yeah.
I meant that for
flatter skin when he plays Clapton.
Matt, this is strictly for you because Steven hasn't gotten to that level yet. Did you ever learn a song? How should I put it? Like the first time I heard California, Hotel California, I didn't know that the Eagles had like 7 people who played guitar. And so I was like really unaware. I was unaware of overlooping. And so I'm learning to play Hotel California, and I'm doing my best to try to get the guitar part right. And I realized there's like 4 acoustic guitars all over the place. I was like going crazy. The same with like Layla. I didn't know that Eric Clapton couldn't play and sing at the same time. And so I was playing it and singing at the same time. And it, got my ass off. Worked my ass off to do that.
What are you talking about? Eric Clapton can't play and sing it. I've seen him.
Layla, he couldn't play.
I've seen him do Layla live and play and sing and all that.
I'm getting this from Clapton, okay? Clapton told me this personally, all right? He was saying that when he played it live, he used to play it slow, the slow version. He couldn't play. He couldn't play it the way it was back with Cream.
That's difficult to sing Layla over.
Right. And for whatever reason, they said he couldn't sing it and play that at the same time. Right. And I did not know that. So I was doing it thinking, I had to learn it like he did. And I'm just wondering, did you ever learn more than you had to for a song and not realize that that's not how they were doing it?
Probably a lot. I can't detail it right now off the top of my head, but sure, I've learned or tried to overcompensate for a lack of instrumentation that was on the record and played too much and tried to play too many parts at once.
Right. Yeah. Because I was the only guitarist in our band. Matter of fact, every band I played in, I was the only guitarist, I think.
My solution to that was to eventually I came to the point where fuck it, I'm just playing the part that I feel comfortable with, and nobody even notices those little side fill guitars aren't there. They don't fucking notice.
It annoys me because in my mind when I'm playing it, I know this people should be hearing this, and they should be hearing this, and that's always in the back of my mind.
When we first started with the Rockin' 45s, it was it wasn't even called the Rockin' 45 then, but it was always, and throughout the entire history of the band, it was just one guitar, drums, and bass, and we decided not to limit what we would play or what we could play just because of the instrumentation. So we did lots of songs. In the early days, I would try to take on like Emerson, Lake and Palmer, Carnival 9 with just that instrumentation and stuff. So you learn to deal with that and accept that. Hear the parts in your head. The audience will hear those parts in their head too.
That's the other thing too. You forget how the brain. I mean, I learned that the brain will fill in things because it hates a void.
Steven's brain won't fill in anything. Right now, he's still working
with ganglia. He doesn't have a brain yet. Yeah. He still has ganglia.
I just was reading his mind. He was saying, "When is this Dwayne Walker guy coming on? I can't wait to talk to him." Anyway,
I'm just still thinking about the length of GD's dreads to my arms. Is all I'm thinking about. That's a callback.
Oh, is it? I didn't get the call. Huh? How about that?
Well, you probably got the call, but you probably just heard and it was
And in California, thinks it gives her a great way to break the ice when she meets somebody with dreads now.
And congratulations for having the stamina to stick through this nonsense for as long as you have. I mean, good for you. I mean, either you have absolutely no life, or you just feel like you're doing a science experiment about retards.
She sticks with us until the Tony Walker thing starts, and then shortly afterwards, when she finds a good place, she leaves us for Tony Walker.
Tony Walker. I think
I'm sorry, Tony Miller.
Is he related to Dwayne Walker? But
Tony Miller.
Here's something, dude. Tony Walker had the D-Man on in studio yesterday.
How'd that go?
I don't know, but
if it goes anything like it does here, I'm concerned.
Yeah. Well, I like the D-Man. He's a good guy. But
I don't dislike him.
I know. I'm just let me finish saying what I'm going to say, because I'm going to get beat up now. People are going to come to my house and beat me up. people like him make me happy that I do most of this stuff, almost all of this stuff remotely, because I would hate to have to end the interview and still have to hang out with them in my home for the rest of the day. See, GD's coming to my house.
Yeah, it's just, it's just there's no energy there. It's a very lackluster interview.
I feel bad for.
He seems like a super nice guy, though. He seems like a genuinely really sweet guy, and he seems like he really enjoys what he does, and good for him. And I hope all the success in the world for him. I think
he tries to learn. Because he was on the show twice, hang out with him. He was on the show twice, and he did try to learn, but he's not a good interviewee yet.
Yeah, well, that's kind of the purpose for people who are just starting out, to get their feet wet in doing an interview, so that by the time they get to Stephen Colbert, they don't totally suck.
If he gets to Stephen Colbert before me, I'm really going to be pissed, and I'm going to cry racism.
Is this a?
Well, he might just make it based. He might just make it based on the fact that he might outlive you.
Yeah.
Fuck you. You have no idea. Look, okay.
Colbert won't outlive you.
Fuck you and the actuary that you wrote in on.
Actuary, you can eat a dirty bag of Richards. So choke on a dirty bag of Richards.
Be violent. Why don't you? Get us banned because you're violent.
Wow.
Grr.
Everybody's sending me these fake invoices now. Like, what am I saying? I know this is a bullshit stuff, because you could not have taken that much money out of my account, because there's not that much money in my account, and I didn't get an overdraft notice. So stop bullshitting me.
I got one of those too. It was like an Amazon order for $941. Go through your PayPal. Did you click the link to let us know if you approved it? Like, fuck you. If I had $900 in my PayPal right now, the last thing I'd be doing is spending it on whatever the fuck this is.
Whatever the fuck
what?
This is. Yes.
Yeah. Now I had somebody steal my business email and was billing people.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Kinky.
They were, but the people were responding back, and they were getting me when they responded back. And they were, I said, well, this is a fake thing. And so I went through the list, and I saw all these people, and I reached out to all of them, and I said, please, do not give this person any money. I said, I will only bill you if I performed a private party for you. That's it. If you haven't booked me to do comedy,
private party.
If you haven't booked me to do a private party, then you don't worry about it. Just ignore all this.
All right.
Wait a minute.
Damn.
I'm gonna book you for my bar mitzvah.
You see my desk moving because of my rock hard on, because he said private party.
Well, so I went as far as to reach out to I found out where the theft occurred, what state, and I reached out to the DA in that place, and I was saying, look, this person is trying to scam people across state lines, blah blah blah, and I went through and I said, I want this, stop it, blah blah blah, and so somebody wrote me a letter, somebody complained, and he sent me talking about being scammed and talking about niggers trying to scam.
Whoa!
He said, I'm not giving this nigger any money trying to scam. And I said, first of all, I said, I researched this. It's not a nigger. It's a white person. I said, it's a black guy that's trying to stop being scammed by the white guy.
Matt just came 3 times. Look at him.
I look like I'm trying to blow the whole soccer team at once.
That's Presbyterian versus Methodist if I've ever seen it.
You know what?
That's a callback.
The Presbyterian would just try to blow one soccer player. A Methodist would just blow the whole team.
Right.
Actually, I don't know. I don't know the difference.
Why I brought that up was because that Dave and Buster's the other night, they were running by scores, and they're like, I never heard of any fucking teams. Who the fuck are these teams? One thing, WNBA is getting a lot of attention because of Caitlin Clark now, but she's taking an unfair physical beating for the growth of the league.
It has spurts. It has spurts. It's like it's going through another growth spurt, because before her, there were other women that just when they hit the league. Like I'm trying to think. There was a black center for LA, and she was like also a model, and she could dunk. And I think Lisa Leslie, was that her name?
I don't know.
It sounds familiar.
And at one point, like I said, she was like the poster child because she was attractive, she was a model, and she could dunk.
And she could dunk.
So,
yeah.
Right, and everybody was paying attention to her. So I think that sports or maybe it's the media can't handle more than one WNBA star at a time. I don't think they know how to focus on more than one. And so they find one, and then that becomes, it's like in the NBA, there's like 15 different superstars in the NBA.
Yeah.
Right.
But in the WNBA, it's like, oh no, we can only have one at a time.
Yeah, but because I'm old, I'm going to choose Michael Jordan to make this point because I probably could have chose Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, but I don't know anything about them because I stopped watching basketball when the Knicks were up against the Bulls and all that stuff. But the league would have never tolerated like what I saw last night. Caitlin Clark got fouled, and as she was walking away, she was kind of turning her head, and then somebody sucker punched her, gave her a full-on like sucker punch and decked her. The league would have never allowed that to happen to Michael Jordan.
Actually, well, not to Michael Jordan, but to other players. Yeah, you're right.
But so she's the Michael Jordan. She's the one who's bringing more attention to the league and bringing commerce to the league. You would think the league would protect her a little bit on that kind of.
No, because they're all jealous of her.
The girl didn't get thrown out of the game or suspended or anything. She just got a technical. Like, you just sucker punched the star of the league. You would never. I mean, coming back to Michael Jordan, if somebody did that, they would be. You got a 90-day suspension.
Well, now Michael Jordan did get beat up a lot worse than just one sucker punch when he played, especially when he played Detroit.
He did, yeah.
Yeah, when he played.
Oh yeah.
Detroit,
I was going to say he got.
But not raped. That overtly, what just walking away.
No, when Michael Jordan was done, they used to send out rape kits. when he finished playing Detroit, they gave Michael Jordan rape kits going, okay, we're looking for the DNA of Isaiah Thomas, Dennis Rodman. We're just...
Where did Charles Barkley touch you, Jordan? Where did Charles Barkley touch you? Where did Patrick Ewing rape you the most? Like, what happened? Yeah. He got fucked up a lot in the league, man.
Especially when he played the Detroit Pistons.
So the reason I even brought it it's just I don't want to use Stevens' word. I almost said game changer, which it's not going to be. WNBA is not interested in pickleball. I just want to say that. But is she actually putting the league on the map? Does anybody who wasn't a fan of the WNBA? Yes.
She has. So there's I watch Paul McAfee's show generally every day, and they were showing some statistics, and like when she would show up at certain away games, the crowd sizes would be 3 to 4 times larger when Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever would come to play versus any other team.
Wow.
She puts significant amounts of asses in the seats. And then when she plays in Indianapolis, for example, when they play around the same time that the Pacers are playing, sometimes big stars will come out to those WNBA games. So she's even bringing celebrities out that don't normally come out. So she's definitely making a dent. And I don't doubt that she's getting her ass beat regularly because there's a lot of really good talent in the WNBA that just doesn't get the same attention because she is better and they're jealous.
Did you see the clip I was talking about where she got?
Oh yeah.
Fucking unbelievable.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm more putting asses in the seats doesn't impress me as much as like putting vaginas in the seats. Or
okay, well she's
as long as you can smell the seats when they're done.
That's right.
Oh Jesus fucking Christ.
Chicago Sky ticket. See, this is the thing when Dave and Buster's, they have the ticket going on. Like, Chicago Sky, what the fuck league is that? Now I know. Chicago Sky tickets were going for $3 when Fever played with that CC.
Caitlin Clark.
Yeah, I know.
I thought they meant my wife because that's my nickname for my wife.
CC Ryder.
Aw.
Yeah.
I said
my wife plays basketball and she doesn't tell me about it. I mean, I knew she dribbled, but
see what you have
I mean, I've seen her handle balls. I mean, I know she's got good handle when it comes to balls, but I didn't know she was like a.
She might not be home, but when I send her this on Facebook, she said.
Yeah.
No, my wife is watching this right now. She just gave me the thumbs up. She thought it was funny. You don't need to
I
say
don't.
this. No, you don't need to
I
tag
don't
her.
believe you at all.
Hey, GD.
Huh?
That's not a thumb.
It's my thumb drive.
Yeah. This feels like a good place to probably end this exercise in retardedness. Anyway, join us tomorrow for a show with a guy named Christian. I forget what the fuck we're going to be talking about, but it might be something worth listening to.
I
Right?
want to see what's that thing called Opus Clips does with this.
Yeah. Well,
especially the part where the guy didn't have a face, but he was talking. I'm curious how Opus deals with that.
I don't think I'm going to put that portion of the show through Opus. I might go take it into Premiere and edit myself and just put a still of Jeff talking there. But
everybody, if you get a chance to check out Bill Rhodes Flavors, he's got new flavors. He's got 3 new flavors named after the cast of Coffee with the Dog. Check them out.
Yeah. I mentioned Bill has a project that's worth finding out about. You guys should try to tweak him and see if you find. I'm surprised, Steven. Do you know about it, or he's purposely not including you because he knows you're a fat, talentless fucking Amish?
Yeah, that's probably why I haven't been clued in on it. Would be my guess, but
if he's in Texas, I mean, I'll go to Texas because, like I said, I'm trying to get to all 50
don't let
states.
you in Texas.
Well, I'd like to go to. I want to go to Austin. So if GD, if you're going through,
we're going to Round Rock for what are we going for?
Round Rock, is that in Colorado?
No, that's where
I'm thinking Red Rock.
I thought it was Round Rock. Was it where his soda shop is? We're going for a soda, right? A ice cream soda.
I'm trying to hit all 50 states, not all the cities in all 50 states.
No, they named it Round Rock because all the rocks there are square or triangular, and they wanted to attract.
Well, it could be worse. It could be Niggerhead Rock, where all the rocks.
Oh my God!
What? Now you remember what? Who was it? There was a politician. A black politician, I think it was the guy that ran the Oreo department of HUD, the Dr. Gifted Hands.
I'm not even talking to you anymore.
Dr. Gifted Hands. He was talking about niggerhead rocks, and it turns out it's also called Greystone. And he was saying, no, that's what they call it. I don't know if it was him or not. I had to look it up, but there was a politician who referred to niggerhead rocks.
Oh my God!
I would like to apologize to the world for me being born, and especially for GD being born.
Apologize to your mother first.
That
big head tore that vagina apart.
I don't talk about my mother all that much, but she's dead. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, by the way,
to quote that great senator from Idaho or Iowa, wherever Joni Ernst is from, we all gonna die someday, bitch. That's what she says.
Sunday?
Someday, bitch. Someday, bitch.
Sunday. All right. Well, I'm off Sunday, so that'd be a good day to die. My friend Patty passed yesterday. Let me just say, Peppermint Patty. No, and it just occurred to me just how fast life goes, because I remember the day I met her. So full of youth, such a very happy person, just full of life. And she died yesterday after a long struggle with cancer. I thought she was on the rebound, but just open your eyes to how fast life goes by. Embrace every moment. Have fun with your life. Get the most out of it, because it goes way too fast. Steven is saying, "There are you boomers," and then like he's gonna blink his eye and he's gonna be a fucking boomer.
I know, it's crazy.
Be a boomer. He'll be just an old person.
Yes, guys. So everybody, celebrate life. Go to minddogtv.com/merch and buy something to celebrate life.
You know what you can do?
And all proceeds will be used for profit.
Or go to minddogtv.com/sing, learn how to sing, or minddogtv.com/guitar, or minddogtv/piano, and learn one of those creative efforts. Then you can go to World of Creatives and figure out how to be a great creator, great artist, because that was what we were all about today.
Go to minddogtv.com/bass and learn all of the techniques that Steven has been learning.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll be back tomorrow. If you're a glutton for punishment, or you just he shared the NDA with me. That is no disease allowed. I will look at it.
Negroes. I think NDA is Negroes don't attend.
All right. You can just. I'm surprised you were very funny about where you choose to say Negro and where you choose to say nigger. It's just it's
It
very.
depends on what they write. I just read them as I see them.
He didn't write either of those.
Look, I'm pretty sure that's what he wrote. I'm almost positive.
Okay.
Watch. Bill, did you mean Negro or nigger?
Oh,
see, he said Negro.
He did?
Yeah.
No, he didn't. Could you say something I don't know. Could you say something homophobic or anti-Semitic or something just to balance things out every once in a while?
Sure.
I mean, I'm sure there are other minorities we could pick on. I'm just like it's early morning yet.
Well, this is Pride Month, so be proud. Buy a gay drink or two if you want to get lucky.
I don't know if we have anything for the LGBTQ. I don't know if we have anything for them in the store. We should put something in the store. Stephen, you're the executive producer of the program.
When you order products, if you're for Pride Month, if you order products from minddogtv.com, all deliveries will be made in the rear.
There you go. Beautiful. And Stephen is working on getting us. Who's the biggest porn star in the world right now? Who Stephen's working on getting us her.
Stormy Daniels started doing stand up.
Porn star. Stormy Daniels is doing stand up. Why don't we work on Stormy? She knows me. You can mention my name in the letter you sent to Stormy. We could get her. I think we could get her on here. That would be wonderful, wouldn't it? We talk about because they're.
Yeah, and then I could play the Politipod bit that I did based on her life. I did a 4-minute Politipod sketch where Stormy Daniels is the star.
Have you ever seen Stormy Daniels' video?
Just her doing stand up.
I mean the porn stuff. Oh yeah.
No.
When the Trump stuff came out, I was just curious, like, who's this? Who would fuck Donald Trump? That was. And then I saw, oh my goodness, I'm too old for this. This is not good for me. But so yeah, I would love to talk to Stormy Daniels about some of that. What the fuck are you doing, man? Is that sex? Did that actually count as sex? What you're doing there? Because to me, that was not in the sex playbook. That was more in the let's see what we can do with the human body, contortionism and whatever.
I don't know who Alexa Fox is. Is that who's listening when I say Alexa, change my channel? Is that who that is?
I don't know. I'm not hip with all. You know what? The names I know from porn stars: Jenna Jameson. I know Marilyn Chambers. I know Linda Lovelace. These are the names I know because I don't follow this shit.
Which one was the teenager that was that? That wasn't Lovelace, was it? The one that was like 14 when she started.
Oh, Tracy, right? Tracy Lords.
Chapman. Yeah.
Now. This is weird, right? I know we're over time, but what the fuck? Tracy Lords apparently still has videos out there that people can watch of her when she was underage, and people don't go to jail for that. Did she sign off now that she's in? I'm wondering how that works because that's illegal. Did she sign off with consent now that she's over the age to say, yeah, I want my childhood exploitation pornography out there or something?
That's a good question. I honestly don't know. Bill might know.
Stephen, write to Tracy Lords and see if you can get her on the program. She's very open about it.
Hold on, I'm taking notes. Hold on.
She's well known for her rear delivery. I don't know, but see, anal wasn't a thing when I was a young.
It was a thing, Matt. It was a thing.
It wasn't a thing that people were
it was
open about. Or maybe the ass was open about, but they didn't talk about it in public. I mean, like, yeah, let's all ass fuck and eat ass.
They did. They just talked in code. They would say things like, "It's my birthday."
They would call it Greek, right? Now I don't know how the Greeks felt about it.
Yeah, they called it Greco wrestling. They called anal sex Greco wrestling.
Matt, who was the person you said?
I said Alexa Tracy Fox. Lords, but Stormy Daniels and Tracy Lords. Those are the two. And Alexa
Tracy
Fox,
Lords or Lords?
Lords, Lords, I believe it is, right? Lords.
Okay.
Right.
She's old now. She's got to be 50 or something. And that's not old. To me, old. I'm saying old for a porn star. I mean, I think,
and even then, it's not old for a porn star if you're in the Palisades, not the Palisades.
See, that was not a thing when I was a young man.
villages.
I mean, there was an age where you kind of aged out of it, and I think it was pretty early, like before 30. But now I know there is one who ran for a political office out in California. I saw her on the Donahue show in the 80s doing a promo for her porn thing, and she's still doing porn now, so she's got to be 60, 70 years old and still doing porn.
So I reached out to a couple like talent agencies that hire and book these adult stars, because obviously a lot of these adult film stars are hard to get in touch with, because they probably get harassed a lot.
Let me tell you something that works. Now, Eva Lovia something, she's a porn star, and obviously she has a big following. That was not the name I found her under. I found her under her real name on Twitter and DM'd her. Her real name is weird, because why would you change? It's a built-in fucking porn star name. She changed her name from Candace Horback.
Maybe somebody else was already using that name in porn, and she couldn't have a choice.
Eva Lavia, but it's just a thing. It's like
sometimes people who are in the industry, the names that they want, or even their real names, they can't use because somebody else is already in SAG with that name, and they have to change it. Like John C. Riley, his name was John Riley, but there was already a John Riley in SAG, so he had to go with John C. Riley. He told me this himself.
Okay. That's a fair guess about why she would do that, but it's like Kobe Fox's real name was Cox, right?
Anthony Cox. Yeah.
Why wouldn't they just go with that? That's there
was probably already an Anthony Cox out there. A Cox.
All right. So Steven, we're holding you accountable on but that's what I would get on Twitter. Now you have the paid Twitter, so you can actually DM some of these people. They're on there. There was one, forget her name, Riley something, but she actually said, I want to be on podcast, and I DM'd her and never heard back from her, because probably looked at this and said, I ain't going on.
Probably because he's saying this is not a podcast, this is a digital broadcast. Yeah. And she goes, what the fuck is that? I want to be on a podcast. Yeah. I don't want to be on a digital broadcast.
But we definitely want to get female porn stars. We've had male porn stars. Pepper Cat was a female, and Eva Livia. But we want to get more. We want to ask about. We want Stormy Daniels. I want to talk about what the video I saw that made me go, I can't watch any more of this. And
well, I just sent Stormy Daniels a message on Twitter.
Wow,
and I have reached out to a couple agencies, and then I took down some names, and then I reached out to Bill about Alexa Fox. So we'll see what happens.
Do you have the template of how I introduce, what I tell them? GD does. It's about sister, curly hair, so bright, whatever. She reads from it all the time. But it's a good description to give them an idea of that they don't have to come here in person, and they don't have to worry about me ogling them. They could do it remotely. I'm not going to be a stalker or try to eat their.
And even if they were in the room with Matt, he's so fucking old he couldn't accost them anyway. The most damage he could do would be drool.
I want to say that's 99% true, but it hasn't been tested. It's probably true, but knowing how horny I can be around very attractive women, maybe the tongue still works. I don't know. The point is, you don't have to risk finding out, because there's a wall of separation here, so you're safe. So that's it.
Now, me on the other hand, I have been known to penetrate different medium.
Got that, Carol? You listening? Thumbs up still?
Yeah, she's still giving a thumbs up. She's saying, I heard that. That's funny. You don't have to tag me or send this to me.
Fine.
I have your template right here, Matt. So
I got your template right here, Matt.
Hey, I got your template right here. All right.
You got your template right here. How you doing?
FYI, Matt, my wife said that the Reverend show was good on Sunday.
Would there be any advice if you were to talk to a porn star right now and you would tell them, we're about to say goodbye, but I have some advice for you? What would that advice be?
Oh, turn on your radio.
Mission side meet.
Too late.
Shit.
Are you high right now?
What's in the box? What you wanna do, baby? It's on you, baby. Fuck yeah! What you wanna do, baby? It's on you, baby. Walk around nappy. Gotta walk around, man. Who the hell are you? Walk around nappy. Don't worry. No matter what, don't worry. Listen to me now. Listen to me, listen to me, listen to me now. Listen to me, listen to me, listen to me now. Listen to me, listen to me, listen to me now.